It's the most incredible feeling to be here. This is live.
Live.
WildEarth takes you on daily intimate experiences in nature live.
This is a very, very...
Oh, careful. Oh, no.
Ask your host questions and have them answered in real time. Join us live every day on WildEarth. This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to you in the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have a very beautiful sunrise. Welcome aboard to your very own safari live from the African wilderness. Good morning everyone and a very warm welcome to you in the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have a very beautiful sunrise. My name is Tim and behind camera we have Big James. This is a wonderful morning. Just as the sun is rising, we have a lioness that is walking on the road. So this is actually one of my favorite mornings because it's not that warm, about 17 degrees Celsius and 63 degrees Fahrenheit. I can hear some crickets. Look at that sun penetrating through this elephant grass. I can hear hyenas over in the distance. Very wonderful morning. So for those who are joining us, for your questions and comments, please send us through #WildEarth on the YouTube comment section at FC. For young viewers, kids questions at wildearth.tv. Now, as the sun is rising, I can see a lioness that is walking on the road. So I'll just drive slowly, follow this lioness to see what she's up to. Could be she's going to find the rest of her pride. She's from the Ololo pride. So let's find out what she's up to. Or maybe she wants to go out on a mission. She's not far, she's just along this road. Seemed like yesterday was a quiet night. So I'm just going to follow this lioness and see what she's up to as I send you over to another live location. Jumbo, everyone. It's another wonderful, beautiful morning when we are here in the Masai Mara. And look what I just came across, a beautiful, beautiful big herd of zebra and wildebeest. Looks like these guys are on a mission because they're all huddled up. And it seems like either they were spooked or they were having a morning meeting so that, they can continue on. But yeah, we'll get to find out what is happening with them. A very lovely morning, everyone. Jumbo, my name is Isaac, and on camera I have Bungay. We're set out here in the plains. I'm going to the marsh, see if I can find some, lions and maybe the little cubs that I've been looking for the last almost 3 weeks. I'm feeling positive. I hope I can find them, sending those positive vibes. Remember to talk to us, #WildEarth. Questions and comments are really, really welcome. It's a nice and cool, very beautiful, overcast morning. Looks like it's gonna clear up, and just have a look at that. It's another beautiful morning in paradise. It's so quiet. Yeah, what a beautiful sunrise. It's so quiet, you can actually hear a pin drop. And the zebras are on the move. This is not, peaceful grounds for these zebras because there is a woodland and forests all around. So there could be anything lurking in those bushes. Majority of the herds you're looking at are the migratory animals that we normally have once a year. And seems like these ones want to leave this particular reason. This happens every now and then after they've been in an area for too long, but it isn't very necessary for them to reach every little spot that is available, here in the Masai Mara. While, they're grazing and moving like this, they'll drop their droppings, which is much needed to fertilize their future food. So actually, they're fertilizing their future food, and they're also, harvesting their food that they had, planted previously. The wildebeest zebra usually go together. They're always together. Every now and then you'll come across a big herd of wildebeest or a big herd of zebra. We call it a dazzle of zebra. But most of the time, when they reach here and they're just moving around, they'll always be in a mix. At the moment, they're so quiet, you wouldn't even think that, I have maybe 1,000 animals close to me. They're just very, very quiet, very well behaved. I think it's a mechanism that they have learned that in the morning or in the night they have to be quiet so that nobody picks up that they're here. You can tell that the pace is a little bit hasty. I think they want to leave this particular spot. We've had lots of rain in the last couple of weeks. It's very localized. We expected it in the month of October. It is normal to have short rains in Kenya because we have two rainy seasons and also two kind of seasons. We have the wet and dry. The wet season usually starts in March, April, May, and June. That is our long rains. And then we have the short rains, which start about, October, November. They're the short rains, very localized, but sometimes we get them every afternoon. Usually mornings are very, very beautiful after the short rains, just like what you see here. It is typical, it is normal to have this kind of mornings because all the rain clears the clouds, but it does warm up very fast towards around 11, 12 o'clock, and by afternoon already clouds starts to gather. Minamu Jumbo. How long will the migration of wildebeest continue in the Mara? Well, for that
which will be very good because it was a bit hot. So I think today is going to be truly lovely.
So welcome back, and back here we have our Lioness who's on a mission and looks like she wants to hunt. My apologies, I thought she's from the Tswalu Pride, but this Lioness is actually from the River Pride. She's been stopping, scanning, and a good way to actually go on a mission when they use or utilize the roads so that they can conceal themselves, not to be seen. Look at how she blends in so well. I've seen this Lioness hunt before. She was with her sisters and together they put down a buffalo. So this morning, because by the look of the stomach, I can see she's not eaten for a while. And they have 4 cubs within that pride. So I'm hoping she gets successful so that she can at least have more milk for her cubs. Sometimes if Lioness don't go without eating, sometimes they can even go up to 24 hours leaving their cubs on their own, or maybe with one of the babysitters, who most likely would be her sister. Then she goes out to hunt, and then after that, she will at least go and bring back the cubs and the rest of the family to where the kill is, depending on how far or how close it might be to the den. So I'm still going to keep an eye on her and see what she's up to. We don't have much game around here, so most of the wildebeest and zebras moved towards the forest area and over to the plains. So I'll just be following her slowly to see if she will be successful. It's a very quiet morning. The wind is not that strong, so at least she has an advantage to pursue prey. She stopped again to scan. So that definitely tells you she's on a hunt. I think maybe the rest of the pride is actually following because she keeps on looking behind. Sassy, she is beautiful indeed. So if there's nothing of concern, she carries on. She's watching over a balloon gliding in the air. That got her attention. There's some people enjoying a balloon ride this morning, but the lion is also on her mission to go and hunt. So just give way. We have some people who want to see this beautiful lion. She seems like she's diverted her attention from the balloon now to something maybe in the long grass. have very sharp eyes, and any slight movement in the grass gets her attention. She's carrying on again. Seems like there's something there, or maybe the rest of her pride could be. I can't really tell because the grass is too tall here. But let's see. Let's wait and see what's going on. MC, thank you for your question. Her approximate weight, I'll put it to about 160 kilos. Look at her paw size, look at how masculine she is. And because she's nursing, then she's not very heavy at the moment because of the continuous nursing. So I'll put her to about 160 kilograms. Thank you for your question. With the lioness hunt alone, yes, this is an experienced lioness. Despite them hunting in a group when they're maybe with her sisters, she can also hunt on her own. Previously, about 3 or 4 days ago, Isaac saw her take down a fully grown zebra. So definitely, I have no doubt she can hunt on her own. It's a very stealthy walk. Until she locates prey, she will keep on looking and scanning. And when she gets her eyes on the target, she will slowly start heading that direction. So since she's not got anything yet, she'll carry on until where she'll locate prey. So I'll still follow her slowly and see where she's heading. And if maybe there's game along her path, I'll just wait or position for a good sighting. I like the way they utilize the roads when they are on their mission, because it's easy, it's even, although sometimes these roads can be a little bit slippery when they're running. So this is one of the easiest way to walk if they want to walk for a long distance. Because along the grasses, if she's already seen something, it might be deterred by other predators or maybe prey. If maybe there's topi, zebra, Thompson gazelle, they can alarm. But since the road is kind of like in a ditch, this is easy for her to actually walk and scan for game. people who want to see this lion. So I'm going to stick and hang around this lioness. Hopefully, maybe she might be successful as I take you over to another live location.
Jumbo everyone, and look what we just came across. This river pride lionesses just made a kill. I would say maybe 45 minutes ago, because they just opened up the backside of this wildebeest and they are busy devouring it. I must tell you, I'm very proud of these girls. They just know how to take care of their cubs, they know how to take care of themselves, and not only that, they know how to utilize this time of plenty. They're just making a kill almost every 2 days, and it is very necessary because I think they have more than 7 cubs, and those are a lot of mouths to suckle, so they need to feed them as much as possible, and by eating like this guarantees that they're going to be very healthy and big. So it is such a moment to see them once again having a feed like this. Looks like they made it very early. Yeah, these are the same girls I saw last night. They were very busy trying to get something. Then I left them just when it got dark, and this is what I came to see this morning. Well, it's not very far from where they've been hiding the cubs. I've been hoping that this kind of situation will attract the other females to bring out the cubs, but until they're ready, that's when they're going to do it. Yeah, remember that lions are opportunists, and whenever there is a chance, they will utilize it, and they're doing it really well. And if they find something every day, they will nibble on it, they'll feed on it. If they find that there is time of plenty, they will utilize that moment, and this is what they're doing in one sitting. When a lion is really, really hungry, it can eat quite a lot of food, almost 40 kilograms of meat. That is a lot of meat. Yeah. These females are becoming bigger and bigger by the day. I can tell, the sizes is some of the biggest lionesses that we have in the Mara. And the main reason is they've been, feeding really well. The area they're in is the prime estate, I call it, because there is the marsh. It's an area that is a corridor for many animals to come and pass. So they always are very, very lucky. This time of day, at dawn, it's a very good time for lions to do a hunt to kill, and usually they get active towards the morning. They're active at night, but I've seen most successful hunts late in the evening and very early in the morning, and this is the case. Okay, it looks like it's gonna roll over the wildebeest and open the brisket. The brisket is the middle there at the chest where she's biting. That's there, it's full of fat, it's full of meat, and I think she's gonna open it. Yeah, she's going to bite it and open it. Is that Suzuki? You say that the river lionesses know how to take care of business. That is well put. And they don't play with food. They know that time of plenty is to be utilized like it should, and this is what they're doing. Well, I have seen them, eating wildebeest zebra, and it is actually necessary to do that this time of the year. And then later on, they'll be feeding on warthogs and buffalo, because all these wildebeest will be gone. And so all that will be left will be warthogs and smaller game like impala. Of course, there will be zebra, there will be small herds of wildebeest, but not around here. Then I think we'll be able to see all of them together with the cubs, because in lean times, they need to combine efforts so that they can bring down larger animals like buffalo, so they will be together. The female standing is the one that I saw last night. If you joined me last night, I was around this area. She was rolling, she was calling. She kept, changing tones so that she could attract one of her sisters. And she's the one, I can tell it's her because she's not lactating. She's not producing any milk. And so today she was joined by one of her sisters. It's been very interesting because I've been seeing lone ones, twos, lone ones. I'm looking forward to seeing all of them together in the near future. I know it won't be very long now. I'm hoping, to see all of them together. That would be, icing on the, on the cake. Rachel Jumbo, you want to know if lions chew their meat or they swallow. They do swallow. They swallow it whole. They just cut it in big chunks and just swallow it. They are not equipped with molars or teeth, to chew it. They're just equipped with carnassial teeth that are meant for cutting, and they just swallow it in chunks. You see the area she has opened? It's full of fat. And that's what she wanted. She has opened up. And also that one will help. She's going to continue cutting the skins towards the back. It's going to open the brisket, and so they can get in and eat those highly nutritious organs like the liver, the heart. Yeah, all that is in there. Looks like she's an older girl. You see her ear has got a notch. That is something I will note. I'd give her a good maybe around 4 years. Very, very well experienced. You can tell how she's eating. Maybe she's the one that made the kill, because she's the one I left here last night. The other one had disappeared off into the bushes. So maybe this one made a kill. You can tell that they haven't opened up the intestines, and that is through experience, because Jambo, I didn't get your name, sorry, but are they avoiding the intestines? I was just about to talk about that. It is evident and through experience that they don't open up that soon, because the smell can travel really fast, especially in a windy morning like this. It can attract hyenas. It can attract, other scavengers like, hyenas. And if like 20 hyenas come, they can actually challenge these two lionesses. So it is through experience that they don't open it right now. They just wait until they've had their fill to open it. I don't know what this girl sees. Actually, I said she's 3. By looking at her face right now, I think she's much, much older. I'd give her at least 7. Yeah, her face looks like, the size of her face, the facial features, looks like she's much older. Well, I'm going to stick here for a little bit longer. I'm hoping that either the rest of the pride is going to join them, or maybe the cubs will come. Let's see what's happening in a different location.
Welcome back to this other side of the Mara, from the feeding lions to our lion who's looking so much hungry and looking forward for a successful hunt. She's come to a stop where she's at least resting, scanning. Seems like she's been walking a long way. Now she's got to a position where at least is raised, where she can scan all the way down to the marsh. She'll regain some energy and then carry on to her stalking again, or maybe hunting. She looks a little bit tired, sleepy. Look at her ears. She's just picking any sound coming from that direction. So when you're looking for lions in the long grasses, this is one of the signs that I always go for. Ears flapping and sometimes there's wagging tails. I think some members of our pride are in that direction because she keeps on facing that direction. Sabi, thank you so much for your question. We have Asian lions, we have these ones in Africa. I can't really tell how many subspecies they are, but we have the mountain lion, we have the puma, which is also a lion, mountain lion also. But we have this Panthera leo in Africa, where I'll get back to your question and get to you right and tell you how many subspecies there are. But the Panthera leo is one that is dominant here. So I'll get back to you and let you know. I think we only have 2 subspecies, the Panthera leo and the Asian lion. Since nothing is going on right now, I'm going to hang around here and see what she's going to be up to as I take you over to another live location.
Well, my lionesses are doing what they are meant to do, is devour if they've made a kill, and this is what they're doing. They've eaten a lot of that wildebeest. I cannot tell you how proud I am for these girls. They just, eat like there's no tomorrow. And when you have cubs to feed, you need to eat like this. See those canines? Very essential, and it's part of a lion to really have them so that it can make kills like this. You can tell she's trying to get onto something there. There's no being. Tony, Jumbo, it is not. It is just a smear of blood from this kill while she was eating. It is not an injury. I think somehow she was feeding and she lied on a part that had the blood, and so yeah, she picked it from that. It's not an injury, Tony. Yeah, this is making me want to have my breakfast, but I'll have it later. It is very interesting to find that, they've made the kill right here, because this is where they all were trying to get a wildebeest yesterday. Yeah, looks like the one to the left has decided to open the intestines. They sometimes feed on them. I'm sure they do get some other vitamins from that, but she's gone back to the real meat. This is why, all the lions are very muscular and very strong. Can you imagine eating all this protein every day, very fresh, and then walking distances like they cover? These girls don't play around, when they need to hunt. I have seen them walk about, 3 miles from here, go make a kill, and then come back, here in the morning. So they will walk, back and forth, looking for something to feed on. And that's why, they're very, very muscular, Can you imagine eating all that food? What is she trying to eat now? The eye or the ear? She's eating the ear, full of muscle. Takes longer to digest. No, it's not the ear, it's the eye. She's trying to get out the eye. Yeah, nothing is left to waste here apart from skin maybe, and certain bones like the horns, the skull, the backbone, the pelvis, the shoulder blades, the femur and the tibia. Those are the few bones that are left. Everything else is usually properly utilized. Well, I'm staying here and watching these lionesses.
A very good morning, Dumela. Good morning and welcome to the wonderful Tswalu Kalahari. My name is Carl. Good morning. Welcome. Behind camera is David. Good morning, David. Yes. Good morning. Welcome to Tswalu. What a beautiful, beautiful sight we got of a male giraffe. Taking it easy, enjoying the sunrise this morning with us. Nice and cool. Not very hot today, but definitely as that sun starts to rise, it's going to get a little warmer today. Summer's definitely approaching us fast. Just doing a little ruminating. So our plan of action for this morning, folks, we've just stopped at this pan. We're going to take a look for any signs of predators coming in here, as well as obviously any new birdies. And then we're going to go a little bit further south and we're going to go visit the rock stars for this morning. We're going to go see how they're doing and give everybody an update on those wonderful little carnivores. This big bull has one wonky ossicone, one funny horn. More than likely due to fighting that ossicone would have been damaged like that. The amount of force that is used. Thank you very much, everybody. It's wonderful to be back. Missed everybody. Missed the ebb and flow of the mornings. Yeah, thank you very much. So just watch his throat. There we go. So early morning ruminating, obviously just digesting the material properly or breaking it down a bit better so that the stomachs or the chambers, the chambers can do what they need to do. So when he cropped the material in the beginning, he really wouldn't have chewed it very well. Oh, he's coming to say good morning to us. All the birds are singing nicely for us this morning. Oh, lovely. typical male feeding quite high on the bush or on the tree. Males tend to feed much higher than that of females. Obviously, they've got about a meter height advantage, but they tend to feed at full stretch. They really prefer the new and fresh shoots that are being produced from these trees. So sometimes even pushing the head almost totally vertical in line with that beautiful long neck. Such a heavy animal. He's weighing at about 1,300 kilograms. So as he's walking now on this light setting, we can actually hear his footsteps hit the ground. Wow. Oh, Glenn. Sorry, David, can you get on to... Sorry, my apologies. Can I just move forward quickly? I just want to show you something. I want you to look at his hooves. I just want to wait for him to stop quickly so I don't disturb him. Maybe he'll come into view by himself. But when we do get a view of his hooves, I want you folks to focus on his front left hoof. You're going to see something quite strange. Yeah, here we go. Just going to get a glimpse of it. You're going to see that left hoof is going to be quite extended. Look at that. Oh, his right hoof as well. Looks very uncomfortable, and over a period when they do get longer like that, it can hinder the animal quite a lot. So there's theories about, why hooves have this extended growth form, and there's theories about they eat a certain bush or a certain plant here that contains a toxin which stimulates the growth of keratin, and also because of the lack of hard substratum here, these hooves don't get worn down enough. You'll find that that's also a theory on why these hooves grow to this extended manner, is because the wear and tear on the soft substratum that we have here is not enough to wear and file down that hoof. You've even recorded kudu in the Eastern Cape having these extensions and can detrimentally affect the animal, obviously, while trying to move away from a predator. But he's in very good condition. You can see his body condition is fantastic. So using neck muscles there now to obviously pull his head down. And then when he's relaxed, those tendons pulling the head and neck up to that beautiful 45-degree angle. Can do they digest everything that they eat? Yes. So that's the efficient manner of this 4-chambered stomach. This is the largest ruminant in the world, which would be the giraffe. So the first chamber now is being filled. So this is what he's doing now early morning, and he's stripping the leaves. You can see how he's using his teeth, and he's stripping the leaves away from that beautiful branch. And what he's doing is he's filling up a chamber within his stomach, the first chamber. And once that material has been accumulated, he will then later digest all that material properly in a process called rumination. So the chamber will push up a ball of material, referred to as a cud. His teeth are designed in a manner that, if you'd ever take a look at a herbivore, they basically swivel their bottom jaw, and then the jaw comes across the top jaw, and that grinds down the material into a very, very fine manner. And then obviously the stomach, when in a further process, will digest, break down, extract, because they actually house microbacterial or good flora within their stomach that is able to digest and break down cellulose, that the body can actually absorb it. So all the material that he would feed on would be eventually digested into little round pellets which aren't even recognizable in terms of what he's eaten. So that shows you how efficient this digestive system is. Okay, we're going to send you off to another amazing location, and we'll see you shortly.
Well, looks like one of my lionesses has gotten enough, and she is resting. She's gonna go back for seconds. Yeah, now she's trying to cover something. That is, through experience, she knows that by covering, it means that the smell of the intestines and the blood won't be picked up by, scavengers or other lions. And that's what she's going around. She has declared herself to do that. She still has to use her claws to pull the grass and cover everything. All that is part of being a true predator. You try to protect everything for yourself. Something she wants from that little piece. Looks like she might eat it all. She might have missed it earlier. And there we go. It's done. In a lion's mouth, they have these three kind of teeth. They have the canines, 4 of them. They have the canisials, about 3 on each side, and 1 molar at the back. Those are the 3 types of teeth that lions have, and they're very useful. The first ones are for grabbing onto the kill and killing it. The other one are for tearing. The first ones are for gripping, and then the other ones are for tearing. Yeah, then the other ones are for slightly grinding it, not fully. Then they swallow it. Those are the kind of teeth that the lions have. Yeah, the canines of different lions can differ from the an area they're in. They have been known to reach up to 7 centimeters in other areas. Here in the Mara, I would say they're about 3 to 4 centimeters. So they are very, very long, and they're very, very useful because they're the ones that kill. They're the ones that grip. Yeah, she's very, very busy. She's very busy. Covering everything up. You need to do this as a lioness or a lion while feeding, making sure nobody sees any evidence, so that when you've had enough, you just can pull the kill, hide it, and then you can stay and sleep, digest most of what you've eaten. And this is what I think this clever lioness is doing. She's a very big She's a very big lioness. I don't know what they had.
Well, good morning, everybody, from Djuma. We haven't seen any of you guys yet, and unfortunately, we've got the back end of the Ellies. They just walked past us, and so we've just got their bottoms. But let me just say hello before we reposition ourselves. My name is Tristan. On camera, I've got Theo this morning, and, well, it's nice to have a herd of Ellies, that's for sure. It's been a while since we've had, since I've had Ellies, so I'm pretty happy that we do. We've been trying to find any sign of Tingana this morning. He was seen briefly on the dam cam. We cannot find where he went. A herd that I haven't seen in a very long time. It's got the 2 delinquents, which are these 2 here that you'll see pushing and shoving each other and being very naughty this morning. But the most recognizable individual within this herd is an individual that's got 1 tusk and half an ear. So there's the left tusk missing, and the right ear is pretty much in half. They haven't seen her for a long time. She's seems to have kind of been somewhere else. These elephants breeding herds have huge home ranges within the Kruger system. So really nice to kind of see her back here. And obviously these two who, well, as you can see, are full of beans this morning. Clearly the cooler, overcast weather is making them full of nonsense, and they have been pushing and shoving each other around all over the place in an attempt to, well, not only play, but they are practicing for later in life when they do eventually have to fight properly. This is how they'll do it. It's also obviously to try and dominate one another. It's a typical thing to see in young animals, particularly elephants. They like to push and shove and show how strong they are, and generally just be naughty. You can see the way the ears are going and the head posture, that they're pretending like they're feeding every now and then, but there's more games going on than anything else. It's not a very big herd, there's only the 2 adult females, and then there's 3 smaller ellies of this size, and then 1 larger sub-adult male that's within this herd. But like I say, nice to see ellies coming through. They must be absolutely loving the fact that there's this green vegetation that's starting to grow, lots of grasses and nice luscious leaves to be eating, especially after a dry winter. It must be like being on a heavy diet where you're not allowed to eat anything really, and then all of a sudden you've been let free on the biggest buffet that you can imagine. So they're going to be happy individuals, that's for sure. Look at these two. You can see even when they're eating, there's chunks being thrown at each other and pushing and shoving. Super cute. Phantom power, I mean, I love a baby elephant. I think you're right in that you say they're the absolute best. I think any baby animal really is cute and generally pretty playful. But baby ellies, given the fact that they are so intelligent, generally entertain a lot more than other babies. They're often, picking up sticks and playing around and falling and doing exactly what this lot is doing now. Now you'll see that one will try often mount the other one. That's just the way that ellies go about dominating each other, particularly young bulls. If they can try and push the other one to the ground and then kind of mount them, it's trying to assert their dominance over each other. You two are naughty. Mom is going to lose her temper at some point if the shenanigans get too out of control. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, guys. One of the rangers, Katie, managed to hunt all of Birmingham Pride. It seems like all of them are here on a giraffe focus. Okay, it looks like a baby giraffe. See there? One of the giraffe legs coming up. Oh, sorry. One of the giraffe legs coming up there. It looks like it was quite a young one. That is more than enough for the entire pride. On the way in here, we passed the young male, we white male, one of the little middle-aged females, and then you can see there's another 1, 2, 5, 7, 8 lions feeding over here. And they are very dirty. This looks like it was quite fresh, maybe last night. Look how dirty she is. The young, previously white female. You can see all of those dark spots. Some of that is blood. Some of that is just giraffe juice. There's lying inside of it. Now, maybe if you scan just a little bit to the right there, so you can see on the ground there, move my head, so like, yeah, all of this is giraffe stomach content. All from the stomach sac. That, I think I'm going to use my finger again, right? But that part over there, that over there, looks like actually potentially a bit of stomach lining, a bit of chest line. You must remember now, this giraffe, vegetarian, it eats leaves. The lions don't eat. They will take that out. And then they often lie in that, get so dirty. And it's so incredible, all of them around there. Not too many noises at the moment. You'll see as food gets less and less, those that have to fight over certain areas, and they're very, very noisy.
Well, one of the lionesses has had her fill and she left behind the bush there. And this other female is still very busy working on the head. She opened up the eye, then she opened the neck, and she was eating something in there. I couldn't really tell what she was. Remember that they know these animals really, really well, and they will eat what they want when something like this prevails itself. They're the only two, and maybe she only eats that special kind of meat when they're alone. And so this is a time to get really onto it. You can tell that she started getting onto the other side, the eye, and then she goes gotta get in. The other lioness really covered everything up, and looks like she went for a rest. She's behind a bush. We can't see her anymore. I'm sure now it's the duty of this lioness. When she's had her fill, she will pull the kill either to the bushes there, so they can have a rest without any issues of attracting scavengers. These two are part of the River Pride. We are in the prime area of the River Pride. At the moment, they stand to be around 6 lionesses that we've been seeing, but I think there are more because there used to be so many last year when we used to see them. We've been here 2.5 months, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get to see them, all of them together, so we can really figure out in total how many are still left. Yeah, looks like something she's pulled, and she was looking forward to pulling it out. You can see that. Very much like us, they are parts of, meat, or when you go to the butcher, there's parts of meat that you want. She knows that, and she's digging for it, because there is plenty of meat back where she's left, but she's going for that particular kind of meat. I cannot tell you exactly where it is, but it looks like it's in between the jaw. I can see that. That's what she's feeding on. Remember that, lion's skin is almost elastic, so every time they're feeding, it like stretches. They'll feed and feed and feed. They don't necessarily have to drink any water because the blood compensates that. But if they go somewhere there's water, they will drink water. The lions here, the lifespan is around almost 16, 17. We've seen some very old male lions here in the Mara. And, in wild they live about 20, but here, it looks like the tongue, you see that? She pulled the tongue out. She's not double-tongued. That was definitely the tongue. So you can tell she's pulling certain things that she hasn't been eating, and that's what she wants, because she's got a chance here all by herself. That is the underside of the jaw. Safari lover, can a lion choke on their food? Yes, they can. I've never seen one die from it, but I have seen one seriously choke, and it was sneezing, but it eventually managed to throw it out. But yes, they do choke. I have seen one that swallowed something too big and long, so I think it blocked the airway, so she couldn't get it all down. At the same time, there was still too much left outside, and by the time she was trying to push it out, it actually almost cost her life, but eventually she managed, and she learned from that, she had to cut it into smaller pieces. Yes, they do choke. I haven't seen any scavengers like jackals or vultures. I think they've done a very good job of disguising everything. But sooner or later, they will be here. But we have lots of, wildebeest around, and so they don't they don't need to be here. Maybe they are somewhere else enjoying something else. Yeah, she's really working on that meat. Remember to talk to me. #WildEarth. Questions, comments are really, really welcome. I hope you're enjoying this and it's not making you feel bad about the wildebeest or feel like not eating meat. It's all part of nature. Look at those claws. She's pulled them out. Yeah, they can be almost 3 centimeters long, and they can cut through human, skin like, a knife going through butter. That's how sharp they are. A very useful tool for them when hunting for a good grip, to bring down the animal. In fact, just to tell you about, the lion is that this is an animal built for the kill. Its eyesight is equivalent to none at night. Its sense of smell, it's also not compared to any. Hearing is also very good. The canines, it's got the 4 of them, very good for breaking onto the skin, get to hold of the windpipe, and the claws are to break through the skin so it can have a very good grip. The strength, it can bring down an animal 3 times its size. So it's an animal built to kill. I'm gonna stay here for a little bit longer.
So exactly like Isaac was saying, the strength of these lions to bring down their prey is fascinating. It's incredible. Especially something big like a giraffe. So now a whole lot of lions just came back. But you just zoom out a bit here. Here comes the young male. You can see now he's walking over here. You can see not too much of a limp, a number of you have been asking. Obviously he stops there behind our seat, but I'm sure he's going to sit there. So he's sitting there with the young white male. You can't see him. He's just below the car. But he will slowly make his way towards the actual carcass. So we had about 3 or 4 lions now just come back to the carcass. I think what they did was they went and got some water. They went for a drink of water. And now that they've had their drink, on their way back in now to carry on feeding. You see all of those lions turn, those young ones? A vulture just flew over the top. So that's what also lets us know that they caught this giraffe, I'd say not too long ago, because that was the first vulture that I've seen here. So one hyena on the way in, and there's this one vulture. So it would say that they caught this maybe early this morning, and the sort of scavengers haven't had time to sort of find the food, smell the carcass, things like that. Listen. I don't know if you can hear that, but now that a number of the other lions have rejoined, they're starting to sort of struggle to find a place around the carcass where all of them can feed. And this is where they will start sort of growling at each other, maybe even snapping at each other. Remember last night when we had that female with her cub, and the cub had this sort of injury on her head? And we said it was possibly around a carcass. She got hit. This is when it happens. Look at all of them crowded around there, trying to feed on this giraffe. It does get quite aggressive, quite physical sometimes. And as this giraffe gets more and more eaten, less and less meat, you'll see it will get a lot more physical. That's crazy. We've got 1, 2, 3 now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think I'm counting at least 11 here around the carcass, around our car. And then the Ross males aren't here. And I think the rest of them are sort of spread out probably in the area. You can see it is quite a thick place where we are now, so they could just be lying in the bushes around us. But it's incredible, and now we're going to start seeing more vultures come. We're going to start seeing more hyenas come. Luckily, where we parked is sort of upwind. The wind's blowing from the left to the right. So we haven't smelt it that much. But it will start to smell now, especially if the sun starts to come out, starts to heat up a lot. And it'll be bad. But look at all of them. You can see lots of quick breathing, shallow breathing. They've all eaten a lot, and they're all very, very full. But they're going to keep eating anyway. You know, this is one of those times we were talking yesterday about, you know, how lions sleep. And I said to you, I've seen them before where they don't move for like 3 or 4 days. This is going to be similar. They might not move from this area until at least tomorrow afternoon. And just ripping apart, trying to find some meat around all of the bones. You can see that rib cage there. Not a lot of meat there for them, but on the legs, on the chest, there's a lot of meat, so they're trying to find a way to get in there and get that meat.
Welcome back to the Mara. I think that was a nice sighting when lions feasting on giraffes, and that is super cute. Our lioness that was stalking this morning had not done anything. We left her sleeping by the side of the road. So I'm carrying on to find more game around this area. So around to the right, that is where the Owino Pride area is. And out to our left is a part of the Mugoro Pride and some part of the River Pride. So I'll just be driving slowly to see if I can find some of those cats and if there's anything along our way. 2 days ago, I saw a cheetah on these plains. So I'm keen to see if I can find some cheetah, lions, and even leopard. Lots of wildebeests have gone all the way to the escarpment, right in front of me. So I'll just stop to scan around this area. Seems like the grass is too tall. Sometimes when the grass is this tall, you have to find what's going on, because you never know what you can miss. So I'm looking for ears flapping, tails wagging. If there's cheetah will be up on a termite mound. Sometimes when they're walking, you see their tails flicking. If a leopard also is walking, you can see their tails flicking. It's like a quiet morning on this side. The Lolo escarpment looks so quiet and calm. So I'm still going to carry on. Fingers crossed for some cat activity, because it seems like quiet at the moment. And so I'm going to take you over to another live location.
Well, good luck, team. Yeah, looks like now it's time to open the stomach. Looks like it. Doesn't look very tasty. You can tell, like, yeah, I think this is where they get their greens, lions, those vitamins that are not found in meat. You can tell she has opened the large intestine. She's eating the skin. And after that, I think she's going to go rest. That's what the other one did. Ate a little bit of it and then went for a rest. This is a meal that can provide them with around 3 sittings when they fully utilize it. Remember, after killing it, they normally start with the hindquarters and in between, and then work their way up Yeah, she looks like she's very choosy. She just came from the head and now she's come back to the belly, the stomach. I don't know what she's pulling out there. Yeah, I can't see really, but definitely there's something that she really wanted to go for. Let's go a little bit more of the large intestine, the skin. Corn husker, Jumbo. Do the cubs get something to eat also? In this case, no, because they're not here. And I think the main reason is the lionesses have enough milk. So they're drinking lots of milk and they don't have to eat, yet. But if they hadn't eaten this much, they were not eating this much, the lionesses, then definitely the lionesses will pull them out from the hiding and take them with them during hunting so they can eat. Remember, when they're eating, it means they drink less, and when they are not eating, they drink more. So it is either way, because now they are not coming out. It means the lionesses are giving them enough milk. Now looks like she's really doing her duty. She's covering even the large intestine for nobody to see. Very typical of cats to do this. Even mountain lions, leopards, when they kill a carcass is too big, they cannot carry it up a tree, let's say a leopard, they will cover it with the grass and whatever they can find to come and eat later. And that's what she is doing, this lioness. The other one has sort of disappeared off to the left in that bush, and I'm sure she's fast asleep now. Every evidence has to be. Jumbo Sasikasi, you want to know if the vultures will eat the stomach contents. The meat part, yes, they will eat it. And they don't play around with it. It just disappears very fast when they land here. They eat it very fast. They just cut it into pieces and just swallow it. So nothing is left to waste. They don't eat the grass. They just open it, and while they're eating, usually it finds its way out. Sasikasi, that's your answer. Looks like she's gone back to the stomach. I don't know what she wants to get out. Looks like there's something, something different. Definitely, she's very experienced. She knows what to eat, and she's picking it as she goes. Right now, she's too full, but she won't give it away. The temperature is just perfect, so she won't overeat. And also, it won't be that difficult for her to digest. So it's just beautiful for her, this time of morning. Okay, what else are you want to try and get? Jumbo, is that Keith? Why did she not share it with her pride? Well, what happens is, a pride, when it becomes too big, they'll form smaller partnership of 2, 3, and 4s, and in lean times, they will, okay, it's time to hide it. Yes, looks like it. there we go. It was there, now it's not. Yeah, small prides, big prides actually will split up and form small groups of 2s, 3s, and 4s. And in this case, whatever is available is enough for them. If it's a warthog, if it's an impala, it's easier to feed those small stomachs rather than have very many and very minimal food. So right now they've split, but in lean times when everything is gone, they'll need one another, so they'll come back so that they can bring big animals up like buffalo, zebra, and also giraffe. So they'll come back, and that's when we'll see them all together. They are not too far, but the rest of the females have been feeding really well, so they don't need to be here, and also there is plenty of food everywhere. I'm gonna stay here for a few more minutes, see if she's gonna come out. If not, I'm gonna continue on. Let's see what's happening in the next location.
Welcome back on board here at Tswalu Kalahari. We're just getting the best possible view here, David, making sure the best possible view is angled up now for us. Beautifully backlit. I mean, look at how magnificent that looks. Everybody standing in attention. So a few members actually falling asleep, that they're a little bit snoozy still. But now where David's got us, you can see that the fur is actually being pushed out. You can see the sides of the animal illuminating quite a lot. And that's because now what they're allowing is they're allowing the dark roots, or the hair near the skin, which is darker, to allow that to be exposed to the sun so that they can... Oh, a bit of a quarrel going on there. So those dark roots absorb sun a lot more efficiently in the early mornings. Not that there's a problem with heat right now. Dave and myself are already breaking a sweat out, yeah. Well, David more than me. So we had a bit of maintenance going on. And now everybody doing what they need to do first and foremost in the morning, which is stand at attention and greet the sun properly. See, all members are still here. Everybody is still here. Everybody's looking very healthy. Those 2 sub-adults are looking very strong, growing bigger and bigger every day. And how they're watching the sandgrass fly over us. It's incredible how acute their eyesight really is, because there's some times where they're looking above them and you think, what are they looking at? And it takes you a good few minutes actually to find what they're looking at. I mean, they recognize birds' wings. Obviously, they know which birds are a threat and which aren't. Just like now, they heard the sandgrass going over, and there was just one individual making sure that it was a sandgrass. But their eyesight is extremely acute, and how acute so that they can recognize the difference between, for example, a raptor and a hardy-dar, for example. Angie, is the beta female still with this group? Yes. Beta females will stay in charge and with the group for almost her entire life. Only when she unfortunately passes away would the next strongest individual take up that role. But the beta female isn't over here, so the alpha is still in charge, and the beta female would be the next in line for when the alpha female happens, when something happens to her. So the beta female will then continue this process of ensuring their safety. Obviously, she's accumulated all the knowledge over the years being within this group. So yes, the beta female is still in this group, and I think she is the one, trying to get to the one on the right-hand side of picture right now. And hopefully we're going to have some larger tummies very soon, whereas they would be coming to the period where they would be pregnant. We're going to send you off to another location.
Okay, so you can see here, some of these lions now are getting quite full. You can see stomachs very, very, very big. And a lot of them are actually just sitting on the side, almost like they're just saving a space. They're not actually eating like that female over there. She's just sort of sitting there watching. She hasn't even tried to eat anything. There's a giraffe leg just in front of her, but she's not really paying any attention to it. But the rest of them, it's mainly the young ones that are still feeding. Oh, look on our left here, there's one of the young male. I think he's a bit close to the car for AD. Oh, there he is, trying to find where. So he actually went off to chase down a hyena and to chase a vulture. So that's where he's been for the last sort of 10 minutes, is chasing some scavengers. And he's just sitting down with his, what classifies sort of like his uncle. But you can see he's already eaten. Look how quickly he's breathing, red all over his face. Okay, so we've got a question from Aisha. Aisha wants to know, do lions eat more than once a day? So Aisha, they don't hunt generally more than once a day. So like this giraffe, they caught it last night, early this morning, and they will eat this giraffe for the whole day. So they might eat and then go off and sleep or drink water and then come back and eat again. So they will feed on the same carcass multiple times a day, Aisha, but not necessarily hunt multiple times a day. You know, if they catch an impala in the morning and then they see an easy wildebeest or buffalo kill this afternoon, for sure they will hunt it again. But very seldomly will they expend all their energy hunting something big and then do it all over again later. You know, generally. But lions are very opportunistic animals. I've seen them once, this pride, eating a buffalo. Another buffalo walked past and they tried to catch it while they were eating a buffalo already. So it does happen, Aisha, but generally not. Like now, they're not going to hunt again today or tomorrow. They will eat now the rest of the day today and potentially finish it tonight. There's quite a few of them here. As I said, it is a baby giraffe. So Aisha, they might finish this tonight, but they're not going to hunt tomorrow. They're not going to hunt, today's Monday. They'll probably hunt again maybe Thursday. You know, because they will each eat today. They will eat probably close on, some of them 20, 25 kilograms of meat today. So that will carry them over for a few days. It will keep them going for a few days. So you should generally, no, they do not hunt multiple times a day. They just catch something and then spend the entire day feeding on it. So we're going to have to leave here soon because there are other rangers, other vehicles that do want to come in here and have a look. But I am very certain they will be here this afternoon, in which case we will definitely come back here this afternoon. We're interested to see how much they have eaten, how much is left of the giraffe, look at the hyenas, the vultures that have moved into the area, just to get an idea of what's happening.
Good morning and welcome to all of you from Buffelshoek in the north of the Sabi Sands, where we find ourselves along the dam wall of the biggest dam up here, well, the second biggest, aptly named Big Dam, where we have a grey-headed heron. And hello everybody, my name is Steve, joined by Paul on the camera. And how are you doing today? It is a wonderful overcast day and it is lovely to be out. Hopefully it's not going to be too hot today, but I'm sure it's going to burn off. But here we've got a wonderful group of hippos. We got some herons. We're going to try and figure out if there's any lions coming in. We're right up in the north of Buffelshoek, and we're working the Manyeleti boundary. Well, someone else is working the Manyeleti boundary. We're working the waterways to see if there's any cats around. And so far, it's been pretty quiet, but we found ourselves some hippos. These are Buffelshoek hippos, everybody, with their accompanying oxpeckers. So it is very green, and there is lots and lots of water. Last time I was here, this watering hole was nearly empty. It's still got a way to go to fill up, but it is a very large catchment. With an island in the middle. Of course, an Egyptian goose. Marooned. Thankfully he can fly, so all good. Overcast conditions have been brought in by the temperature yesterday. I don't foresee there being any rain. I just foresee it being a little bit overcast and a little bit cooler, and probably burning off as the day carries on. We hope to show you a fair bit more of this wonderfully big property. Both Tristan and I spent a fair amount of time this morning trying to figure out where Tingana had gotten to. He was seen on the dam cam last night, but the poor fellow hasn't left a track anywhere to be found.
All right, they've changed positions, so have we. It's a little bit more sun being exposed in the side of the bush. See a bit of maintenance. Somebody's already hungry, starting to look for food here at the base of the tree. Seems like everybody's hungry this morning, David. So a little bit of grooming under the bushes there, sunbathing, waking up. Obviously ensuring that this burrow is well looked after. So they've been using this burrow for the past couple of weeks quite frequently now. And you can see the maintenance going on by the one in view, shifting the soil with those long 2.5 centimeter long claws. A bit of a stretch, getting the muscles stretched out, blood flow. And before you go for work, you have to have your stretches done. Oh. Curious, introvert. So do they go in search of water? If water is available and nearby, they will drink. But from the material or the food items at which they eat, insects contain enough water so that they, from their foraging behavior, actually accumulate quite a lot of their moisture requirements. But if they are in the vicinity of water, and obviously if it's safe, they definitely will go take a little drink. But insects do hold the water that they need in order not to visit water every single day. Obviously with insects, they've got that sealed vessel where everything is contained within a chitinous body. Very efficient body plan, which obviously allows them to survive these drier regions. This is the alpha male here. You can see his extended canines. He looks like a little vampire. Just punch into his face there. So he's got very long canines, this gentleman here. Looks like he's smiling and grinning at us all the time. It's definitely a male. This is the alpha male of this group. Oh. Off early today, David. They're really starting to forage on the left of us over here. Bliss, it is very entertaining to watch them stand. And if I don't know, that obviously that tail, it enables them to stand upright like it, but it looks very, very nice. I really enjoy them standing up just like that. Oh. So it looks like they're going to start moving off. Obviously the heat is a big thing. The quicker that they can absorb heat and get going, the quicker they want to start foraging. So they'll forage, especially with these increasing temperatures now, they'll forage until the hottest part of the day. And if they feel too uncomfortable, then they will find a nice shady spot under the ground. They'll even shift soil and expose the cooler soil beneath that, and they actually stretch out on their tummies to absorb that cooler sediment. So taking a bit of siesta throughout the day, the midday period, and then late afternoon continue foraging. The amount of energy that they expend per day foraging just absolutely mind melts me. So it's almost if I give you a spade and I tell you that throughout the whole day you're going to have to dig 2 meters a dig to obviously find your food items. It's kind of like a way out. They're digging and they're expending the energy that they've accumulated. They find material that just gives them enough to carry on. But obviously digging behavior is a very important thing for them in order to find food. Insects of various kinds, scorpions, spiders, is their food items. And obviously their teeth allow them to enable them to eat those food items. Oh, there's some springbuck, Dave, on the left. This male just making sure everything's safe because the colony is starting to move off, excuse us, to the left-hand side of us. James, yes. So through summer, those very, very hot days when you're reaching 45 degrees Celsius, that's the ambient temperature. The surface, the soil can be another 5 to 10 degrees hotter. So their behavior will change. So coming out earlier and then finding a nice shady spot or even going underground through the hotter parts of the day and then foraging longer into the evening is a summer behavioral trait. And then in winter, when it's very, very cold, they actually get up later when the ambient environment suits them better. And then they'll forage a lot shorter, but they need to be foraging very intense because of the lack of insects that they would find through winter. So their behavior is definitely starting to shift into the summer format. And that's very clever if you look at it from an animal, changing its behavior in order for it to be best suited within the given time of the year. It's very incredible for me. Think about that tiny little animal. It's learned over time that, it's getting hotter, I need to change my behavior. We're going to send you off to another amazing location and we'll see you guys later. Off there. Yeah. Because all right, welcome back. Sorry about that. We just enjoy these little ones moving off into the vastness, and David can really show everybody how small and tiny these animals are within this vast environment. So having a system where you have somebody watching your back is very, very important. So sentry duty will be played out by a certain individual. and while the rest of the colony is able to feed and forage in a safe manner. You can see when they move their little tails being held up like antennae. Nice follow me sign. And I mean, going throughout the day, for the whole day, they'll only return back to this burrow. Maybe they'll return back to this burrow, but returning back to a burrow system only at about 6:30-ish. I mean, it's a long time to be out here in this environment. Watching out for predators, trying to find enough food, trying to keep cool. Animals really have it tough out here. You got to have respect. I take my hat off every day when I watch animals. It's just what they go through on a day-to-day basis. Tess, why are they called the rock stars? Because originally their area of operation, where they were first found, was in a specific point we used to call Rockstar Junction. And so them being in that area, it was nice for the guides and trackers to know this specific group. So that name was then just adopted so that when guides coordinate their game drives or we go out with people, we know that, you know, if a guide says, I'm going to the rock stars, everybody else knows exactly which group they're going to. So just from where they were operating, that name was adopted. But also it's a very fitting title. They are literally rock stars. Fascinating little animals. But a very nice name, rock stars. And so there's this group. There's another 2 groups that we have in Tswalu that we are going to start visiting. So you guys can see different behavior, different areas, which is the Makalo group and as well as the Khosa. We're going to send you off and we'll see you just now.
A very cool morning from andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. We have been looking for lions the whole morning, but at last have found a cheetah and her 2 youngsters. And it is actually 2 different youngsters than what we saw yesterday. My name is Dewald, and behind the camera we've got Gerrit, and we are going to be sitting with these cheetahs and hopefully see if we can watch them go about their business. They were actually hunting a little bit earlier because there was 1 or 2 other rangers that were with us and with these cheetahs, and they actually came and lay down here because you can see the female there, she's panting quite a bit, so she was actually trying to chase some impalas earlier. See, the youngsters are up. Look at how skinny they are. Those bellies have almost no food in them. Look at that. See the interaction there. Like going and standing next to mom there and maybe sitting upright like that, almost telling mom, we are hungry. It's time to get the hunt on. So she's just bobbing her head around. So there is still a few impalas in the area of where she was hunting earlier. So if any of you remember the sighting we had yesterday of the cheetah that was on the Ngala, those 2 youngsters were not as fluffy on their necks and on their shoulders as these 2. So these are 2 a little bit younger cubs, and this female also has quite a little bit of a black face. I don't know if you can see it there on her muzzle. Okay, they're up. Let's see what they do. These youngsters are looking a little bit playful, and they're coming here towards this tree. Looking straight at the tree here. Oh my goodness, look how they're smelling. So with cheetah cubs love to climb onto anything they can find. See how they're smelling. There might be something that some other cats also, or maybe some cheetah that have scent marked against the tree there. See how he keeps on looking up into the tree there. Just looking back at Mom as well. So adult cheetahs will often climb into high or higher branches or on fallen over trees to get a vantage point, and these youngsters, having those natural instincts, will often jump into something similar and just climb to play. But they are literally 5 meters away from us. And I think Gerard and I are going to sit here and we are going to wait and see what these cheetahs get up to. Seems like these youngsters are nice and active.
From one set of spots to a set of rosettes. It's super, super exciting. We were coming to Chitwa to try and follow up on Sabi and her cubs, and we've managed to find the young male that is busy hunting impalas, and it sounds like the female cub is also somewhere here because the impalas are going crazy, but they can't work out where these leopards are because I think they're seeing 2 different individuals, and that's why they're basically panicking. But you can see he's busy watching impalas. You can probably hear the impalas shouting. They almost ran straight into him because the male impalas were chasing each other, and one ran right towards him, and he was in stalking mode, and we thought maybe he might grab one, but I think everybody's just shouting because there's actually 2 different leopards here. I don't think it's just him by himself. They were dropped off here yesterday by Mom, close to this area, and so I'm hoping that the little female will appear as well, and maybe even Mom, and we'll get all 3 of them together. You can see all the impalas and waterbuck and various animals that are going absolutely crazy at this stage. Even the monkeys are alarm calling too. But you see how they're facing the opposite direction? So they're actually not facing towards us at all. I'm pretty sure the other leopard is just in front of us here, down towards that area. And like I say, he's terrorizing them from the back. Now, a more experienced leopard, so an individual that was older, so maybe his mother, would have taken full advantage of this. Because the impalas are so focused in the opposite direction, it would have allowed her to have gotten right in behind and grabbed one of them. But I'm sure we're going to see both individuals coming out together here. Crazy though, isn't it? And the way that he's watching, I'm pretty sure that she is also here. I'm so excited because I haven't met her yet. I've seen him and I've seen Sabi, but I haven't seen the little female. So I'm hoping that she's going to come out towards us as well, and we'll be able to get the 2 of them together. It's so nice when you get 2 young leopards together because they often play a lot and they run and they do all kinds of cool things, which is really nice. So let's see. You can see he's a bit bewildered. He's like, why is everybody sort of facing away from me and not shouting at me? I'm sure he'll eventually realize that it's his sister that everybody is shouting at this stage. Beautiful cat though, isn't he? I wonder where Mom is. They're also at that age now where they're going to be causing havoc like this. They're getting big enough and bold enough to start really trying to hunt and try and go after various animals. But here he goes. Come on, go and join your sister. Isn't this cool? Are you ready, Mom? So you can see that he's kind of also realized that these impalas are not paying attention. So that's why he's moving a little bit. But what you're going to find is because he's right out in the open, these impalas will eventually pick him up and start shouting at him too. problem with this amount of alarm calls is even if they were to hunt and were to be successful, what you're going to find is that hyenas have heard this. I'm pretty sure hyenas will appear here fairly shortly. They generally do when you get a lot of shouting like this. They come in to check because they know often when there's impalas going crazy like this, it can mean that there was one that was killed. In this case, it's just because there's a leopard on either side of these impalas, and so all they're doing is just shouting all the time. I think I can see another one far down there. Kelly, so yes, they are capable of hunting at this age, and are able to hunt by themselves at this size. The youngest I've ever seen a leopard making a kill is 4 months old. So, they can most certainly do it. It's just that they don't have the technique down pat. And you can see with him, he's out in the open, which means that, he's unfortunately being shouted at, and they're still kind of learning how to do things. But I can see his sister in the distance, or a leopard in the distance. So I'm sure he's heading straight towards where she is. So we should get the two of them coming together, which will be really, really nice. Oh, I'm so excited. It's so cool to have spots. All right, we're going to follow him. We're going to see where he goes. Hopefully, like I say, he's going to join his sister. And hopefully, we're going to get a really cool sighting with the two of them.
Well, it's a bit of a blustery day here on Pridelands, but in the shadows underneath a tamboti tree, you might be able to spot a lioness who is just having a little bit of a siesta. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Sebastian Rombi. Like I said, we're at Pridelands, which is part of Tswalu Game Reserve in the Greater Kruger National Park. Amazing, right? So this is our lioness that we get to see quite often. She goes by the name of Lagatha. She's a fairly young girl. She's been walking around quite a bit. So I quickly want to give her a very quick update before we have another look at her. You're not missing much. She's fast asleep. But yesterday afternoon we were told about a buffalo sighting, which was really cool. So that breeding herd of buffalo that we often see came back onto the property. There we went to the north and then came back around here. And then there were lots of elephants and all sorts of things, and then there were lots of alarm calls from monkeys and guinea fowls. And Lagatha actually ended up showing up. But unfortunately, we didn't have too much signal around there. But she's done a huge walk. So basically from where she is, she's gone all the way back north, and she's come right round. So she's walked a fair few kilometers. So I don't blame her for being fast asleep at this time of the day. It's also nice and cool. I'm going to try and see if I can lean back like this so that you guys can all have a nice view. We probably won't sit her for too long. I think she is settled in for the morning. You can see how nice and shady it is there. There's also a nice breeze. So I think she's taking the opportunity to get some good sleep while it's nice and cool. I don't think it's going to be particularly hot like yesterday, but I'm sure she is absolutely exhausted. It doesn't look like she caught anything either. She still looks rather slender from when we pretty much like we saw her the other morning. So I think she's getting a bit desperate now, but she's right at Leopard Dam, so I think that's a good place to be, because warthogs or impala or any of the smaller animals that will be coming down to drink will be perfect for her to hide away in the shadows and try and catch one of them. Must be tough living on your own, hunting for yourself all the time, especially being inexperienced and quite young. She didn't get to spend much time with the pride and learn from the rest of the adults, so she sort of just had to figure it out. Trial and error. Much error, though, I think, on her part. But we'll sit here for a little bit longer in hope that she does decide to get up and maybe go and look for something to eat. But for now, we're just going to appreciate all the birds that are flying past us.
Well, talking about something to eat, you can see these little leopards are looking. Now, this is the little female. She's super cute and dainty in comparison to the male who's charging around, still chasing impalas. She's just watching the ongoings of this and thinking to herself probably, what is going on? There's too much chaos around me. From what I understand with the guys that have spent a lot of time with them, is they say that she's a little bit more shy than he is, which is not a kind of surprising thing. Often little females like this, especially when they've got they've got a brother as a cub mate or litter mate, they tend to be a little bit more reserved, because the boys tend to be a lot more brash and boisterous, and because of the fact that they are slightly bigger, they often will kind of dominate everything, and so you find the females become that much more timid. But she's super cute. Hopefully with all the shouting, Mom is going to come back and we'll get a reunion of all three of them. It's been so long since I've seen a leopard with two cubs. It's, we've on Djuma have been only seeing females with one over the last couple of years. So the last kind of two cubs together was Shongile and Hosanna. So when you see these two together, it kind of always brings back those memories of that little boy and Hosanna and Shongile together, and the antics that they used to get up to. And I'm sure these two are no different. And it's really nice to see that they're spending a lot of time on Chitwa. That's going to bode well for us going forward. The little male hopefully will not distribute too far. Maybe he pushes up towards Djuma, and then obviously to have another female in the area is always exciting. When you get females, they'll also not move very far. So it means that we should see a bit more of Sabi or this little one. They should then hang around a little bit more, which will be good. Obviously, we also have, Kupona, which is Sabi's previous litter. She was seen yesterday, apparently, not too far from where the Nkumas are feasting on their giraffe. So that's just south of Djuma. So there's lots of female leopards around at the moment, which is really, really good for this particular system, and means that we're going to inherit a lot of these more relaxed individuals, which will then obviously strengthen the numbers of leopards in the area. But she's cute, isn't she? She looks a bit like him, but it's just not as bulky. He's definitely a lot larger, and that's to be expected at the ages that they are. A male leopard is going to be almost double the size of her by now. I'm not sure where he went. He was walking straight to where we are. The last I saw him, he was behind us walking here. But it seems like from the shouting of the impalas is he's continued to kind of chase them rather than come to his sister. It seems like he's going to continue to terrorize all the animals within the area and try and see if he can maybe hunt. And that's just curiosity and youthful exuberance on the part of the little male. He's obviously, wanting to hone his technique and wanting to learn how to hunt. And so chasing impalas around, even if he's got no chance, is always a really good thing. Now, I believe a lot of you are like me and are very excited to see both of the cubs. It's been a while, I think, since we've had both together. And like I said, it'll be really cool if we can get Mom as well, and we'll have all three. I don't know when the last time we had all three of them together was, but it would be good if we did. You can see that if you looked at the male and even her, she has quite a full belly. So I think yesterday, because they actually were seen in Mala yesterday morning, so they walked a long way during the day yesterday. I think they must have been on a kill, and then Mom decided, nope, it's not as safe there, so we're going to march you all the way back to the core of her territory and towards Chitwa, which luckily for us meant that this morning our plan to find them has completely paid off. So Elizabeth, they must be now approaching a year old. I think they were, I'm trying to remember now when they were first seen. It was, I'm sure, about a year ago now. So yeah, they're about a year old, which means that they're still reliant on Mom. They're not quite at the age yet where they can go off on their own. Within the next 3 to 10 months would really be the time that they start getting pushed by Mom. And what you'll find is sometimes, even when you've got two cubs, is that the separation is quicker with one than the other. So maybe she pushes the little male out first or the little female, but generally you find the males try to cling to their mom for as long as possible, because life is very good as a young male leopard because mom feeds you. You're also under her protection. And so it's a lot easier than being on your own. So you tend to find the young females distribute from their mothers a lot earlier than the young males. All right, let's follow her because she's going behind us. So poor Theo's going to end up breaking his back trying to follow her. So I'm just going to do a little turnaround and we'll try and keep up with her. Unfortunately, we are very, 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 very close to the cut line, and where she's heading is going to cross the cut line into Little Gari. But let's see, maybe we'll get lucky and the two of them will come together and stay on Chitwa. All right, I'm going to catch up with her. Hopefully, we'll be able to see both of them now.
From the leopards to our zebras, who look very calm, relaxed, and grazing. Now, zebras live in stable harems where you find one stallion and about 12 to 11 mares. So these are the plain zebra. Unlike their counterparts who are called the Gravy, who are found in northern Kenya, the males are very much territorial, and they will always invite mares into their territories. Now this one always walk along with their mares. Sometimes we have the stallions fighting over to take over the harems, or maybe the dazzles. Sometimes people may call them as dazzle or zeal of zebras. And those fights are very vicious. Sometimes you see them even killing each other. I've seen one time when this stallion kicked over another stallion over a riverbed, and it fell down into the river and broke its leg. So sometimes, even though they look very much cute, very striped, they can be super strong and vicious. I've seen them kicking lions as the way of defense, and even biting. So these are the last ones to actually follow the great herds of the wildebeest, because they eat on the medium-sized grass, as the wildebeest will eat the taller grass. So these ones get to eat whatever has been left because of the browsing levels, or how these two species browse or graze. You can see a young foal there. So if, for example, another stallion comes and there's a small foal, what they do, they always kill those foals because they don't want a gene from another stallion. So way over in the distance, there's lots of wildebeest. So I'll be driving over to that side to see those herds. So these zebras will be slowly walking, following the wildebeest as they're heading down further to the west. See these two here? One on the right looks a little bit pregnant. This is almost their time for giving birth. And we see around December, towards the end of November, December, when they give birth. The gestation period is about 11 months, while the grave is about 12 months. Some of them look a little bit dusty. The common belly looks pretty big, yes, because they're pregnant. But some of these actually not pregnant because they have what we call hindgut fermenters. They have gases that, because they're one-chambered stomach, they don't ruminate. So whatever is eat, they put into a digestion system where we call it the hindgut fermenters, where fermentation takes place on the cecum, as you can see on the back of their stomach. So sometimes they have bloated stomach and can be mistaken to be pregnancy. So if you compare these two, the one to the right is actually pregnant, the one to the left is not pregnant. That is because they are hindgut fermenters. Just like elephants, sometimes we can see them having very big stomachs. Actually, if you compare those 3 or 4, you see that they have very big stomach. And so the hindgut fermentation only takes place on the cecum, where the fiber or the plant that they eat is digested and fermentation takes place. Now, if these zebras are successful to give birth, the young ones always follow them for about a week before they start eating. And because they don't have that bacteria that well digests the plant matter in their stomach, they have to eat their mother's droppings, and which will help them in digestion. So I'll leave these zebras and head off to see the wildebeest, because there's a big herd over in the background as I take you over to another live location.
So these youngsters actually settled down a bit, and they were coming and investigating a few fallen over trees close by. And I think there has been another cheetah, a male cheetah, that maybe came through the area and scent marked. You can just see the 2 youngsters lying there with mom in the middle there. But have a look, there's actually a giraffe that's coming to investigate these cheetahs now. Look at that. It's just realized that there's cheetahs turning around, and looks like it might actually come a bit closer and investigate. Yeah, look at that. So with giraffe, they've got exceptional eyesight, but it seems like this female here is coming closer to keep an eye on what has caught her eye here, and to try and see if she can identify what it is. Look at the cubs like looking in that direction as well. But these cheetahs won't be fazed about these giraffes. And the giraffes are coming to just keep an eye on them and also try and identify. So they'll see the movement on the ground there and see the cheetahs, but we're not sure what it is. There's a bit of a yawn there from that youngster there. So see how it's like licking its lips as well. These youngsters have been way more active than mom. I think they are very, very hungry, and they're hoping that she would get up and hunt pretty soon. See how mom's like looking around as well. So the youngsters fall asleep every now and then in between being a little bit active. They just heard an alarm call of an impala, and look how it's caught the attention of these cheetahs. Oh, look at that. Immediate reaction to those alarm calls of the impalas. Hear them alarm calling off to the right hand side. She's just trying to look if she can spot the impalas, because I don't think they're alarm calling to her. She's obviously very, very interested. Okay, we are gonna see if we can quickly go around the bush there and see if we can follow them for a little bit. Let's maybe go around this way. So if she starts hunting, we're going to switch the vehicle off and we'll sit and just watch and wait. But for now, I think Gerrit and I are going to see if we can stick with these cheetahs and see what they get up to.
We got some more lions, everybody. So this now is the Birmingham Breakaway Pride. So this is the other half of the Birminghams. I'm sure I did mention them a couple of days ago, saying, you know, when prides get very big, they do break up. I think we're actually talking about it with the wild dogs. So when wild dog packs get too big, they break up. But anyway, that's what happened here. And this is now the other portion of the Birmingham Pride. And I haven't seen them in a very long time, especially not the entire Pride. And here, I think we counted 11 lions that are here, including this very handsome young male. And out of these 11 lions, I counted at least 7 young males of varying ages. Some of them are about 3.5, and some of them just under that, about 3 years and about 4 or 5 months. But very beautiful. You can see that one over there, yeah, head up. Now look at that mane coming. He's got that sort of mohawk in between his ears, quite a big mane coming down the side of his cheekbones. Yeah, there we go, just under the ears there. His mane, the mohawk part of it is a lot bigger than the actual Birmingham sub-adult, the one that we were looking at earlier. But he doesn't have that sort of growth around the neck and the chin area that the sub-adult has. And the sub-adult's about 4 years. And this one, as I said, probably about 3.5. See, he's just looking around. There's another ranger joining us. And you see he's just having a look to see what he's doing. But it's actually really awesome to see them again, to see how much they have relaxed. So that one there that you can see now, I don't know if you guys were watching, I think Rowan was driving, and we saw that one male lion up on Alfred Dam Wall. He was just by himself, just relaxing there one day. That is him. So he's about the same age as the sub-adult male. He's also just 4 years old, plus or minus a month or two. But he's definitely the oldest male that's out of these lions that we're looking at the moment. And then if Odie scans out, so we'll count there. So the one sleeping at the bush here is one. Then the one that we were looking at originally, yeah, that one on the left. So 2. And if you scan to the right there with the other clump of lions, that one there with its head up, 3. So those ones are all the same age. They're all the ones that are about 3.5. Now, if you look at the one with their head up, if Odie just zooms out a touch, you can see the one on the right of him, the one facing away from us on the right, and then the one on the far left of the shot. Those are also both males. And then there's the one in the middle, and they are all a similar age. Those are the ones that are about just under 3.5. They're close on like 3 years and 3 months, 4 months. It's going to be a phenomenal pride when they grow up.
This individual is getting tucked in. Talk about stuffing your face. Getting in there to get all the good parts of the tree. Obviously, being a browser, they are well adapted to feed off bushes, and they've been recorded browsing off between 80 and 100 different tree species. That will obviously be in areas where the tree diversity is a bit more diverse. That'll be a Krug area. And obviously adaptations that allow this animal to nimbly and skillfully select what and where it wants to feed. Spending quite a lot of time feeding through a day. Through an average day, they spend about 15 to 20 hours a day just feeding. That's a lot of time focusing on your food. Obviously, the requirements is quite a lot. 34 kilograms a day. Davis, just pull forward there quickly. Davis just seen two young bulls just behind. Just sorry for the movement, guys. Just want to move slightly forward. These two young bulls are necking here. Fantastic. So typical of males forming these bachelor herds, females like to stay in these loose groups, 4 to 20, 30 individuals. But then something we refer to as temporary association. So the group not being bound for long periods of time with individuals. So very loose social structure. So these are definitely two males. See the younger one there definitely wants to neck. So necking is a practice that's displayed by young bulls. And this is very important practice for these individuals. Obviously knowing how to throw the neck, where to hit the opponent, how to stand against your opponent. It's all in the build-up for eventually one day when they have to successfully do this to fight for mating rights. And if they don't do it, they can really injure themselves. If they don't do it properly or correctly, they can really injure themselves. When they're really going at it, you can hear how the head hits the opponent's body from quite a distance away. You can hear this deep thump from the impact of the head onto the opponent's body. Okay, trying to adjust properly. So standing next to each other, and they sometimes cross their legs. And they get themselves into that position, and then they just throw that head like a club into their opponent. It's like two siblings. But these will be from different mothers. Oh, bullying him a bit. Shall I pull forward for us a bit more, David? Yeah, just hold on there, folks. I'm just going to get a nice clear view for everybody here. There we go. Look at that. Great. June, when does the tree release tannins? Whoa, look at he's walking straight towards us. It's like he heard the question. Look at this. So using that very rubbery, long tongue. So June, that will be a response with, obviously the tree would need getting some salt. June, so the tree would need a bit of time to recognize the attacker. So I would say around about 5 minutes. Then the tree would start releasing tannins, and as well as other chemicals that would inform trees downwind that there is a potential threat and that they need to start in that tannin process to deter a herbivore. So trees can pick up the chemical signature from the saliva of a herbivore like this. They can even respond to insects, to foliage-eating insects, and they can respond according by releasing a chemical that attracts a predator that will eat that insect. So it'll depend on tree species and as well as the amount of browsing taking place on the tree at that given time. But really remarkable adaptation. If you just think trees are just standing there doing their thing, they are very complex, communicating on a level that we are only now starting to understand with the modern advance of technology that we have. It's a really big bull, this. In his prime, you can see the calcium deposit on top of the ossicones. And then if he turns his head, you're going to see the one patch, one spot where a giraffe doesn't actually have a lot of patterning is behind the ears. There we go. The ears being snow white, or almost snow white. So those are very important visual beacons or cues at night time. Obviously, lighter colours pushing or reflecting light and darker colours absorbing. So those ears will be used as visual representatives of where the other individuals are in the veld. We're going to send you off and we'll see you in shortly.
Well, we're sitting with the young male now. The little young female unfortunately crossed the boundary into an area we can't go. So now we're just enjoying the little boy's presence. But how epic is it that we got both these leopards? And it was amazing because no one had come actually to look for them. And we drove down and the guys said that they'd heard some monkeys alarm calling close to the camp. And we drove down the road and saw an impala that was looking awfully stiff and rigid. It wasn't shouting. And then we drove a little bit further and he was just trotting down the road next to us, which was really cool. So I'm super stoked that we got to spend time with both of them this morning. I was really hoping that she was going to come down to where he is and that the two of them were going to rejoin and groom each other a little bit and kind of just bond as siblings. Maybe they still will, but you never know. For now, she's too busy following those impalas that went into the nearby property. He's busy watching waterbuck at the moment. That's why he's lying down the way that he is. There's waterbuck all around him, and I think one lonely impala in amongst the waterbuck. Now, the waterbuck are not really on his menu, I'm afraid. Young waterbuck, potentially yes, but these are all big males that are walking around him at the moment, and so and that means that he's not going to have much luck. They're too big and too powerful for him. He needs to look after or go after small baby baby waterbuck if he's going to have any luck. And it'll have to be when he's a bit bigger. Tingana at one point was very, very good at hunting baby waterbuck, particularly around Cheetah. He used to go after them fairly regularly. But he was a lot larger than what this little male is at the moment. He's a beautiful, beautiful boy, though. I was lucky enough to see him the last time I was at Djuma. And he gave us such a cool afternoon, being, well, full of his normal antics, as well, full of a young male leopard's antics. This morning he's been a lot more kind of focused on impalas and far less playful. But that might change. Like I say, maybe when the little female comes, they might get into a situation where and they start to play a little bit more. But the way he's kind of perked up, I think he's maybe spotted her. Oh, there she comes. She's coming straight towards him now. Awesome. She's going to come out behind us towards him. But you see how his demeanor changed completely as soon as he spotted her. So the waterbuck and the impalas and all the other things that are here, those are things that he knows are around him. But as soon as he sees another leopard, he always has to be a little bit careful because it could be, potentially an individual that could threaten him. And so he'll have popped his head up just to make sure that he knows who this leopard is. But it looks like she's going the wrong way again. You're going the wrong side, girl. You need to come this side. I think she's trying to find him, but she keeps losing his scent. But he's kind of watching in her direction. Let me go forward a bit, then we can maybe get her. Now, Louis, you say that, I didn't copy all of it, but you said that he's going to be big when he grows up. He'll be a big boy. Most male leopards are generally big. You'll just see the top of her ears there and the little white tip of her tail. So she's really, really close to where he is. She's just gone up on a log at the moment. We'll wait and see if she's going to spot him. I think she's just watching and hoping that he arrives. And if she sits up, that he'll be able to spot her and kind of come to where she is. But that white tail is such a diagnostic feature of them. You can spot them a mile away when you see those little white tails twitching. You see how he's interested? I wonder if he's not going to make his way there. You know what? Yeah, I want to just go around because there's such a cool shot of a waterbuck staring at the little girl on the log. And if we can line them up, it will be very, very, very cool. He'll also hopefully come around towards where she is. But I just want to try and see if we can potentially get the waterbuck and her kind of staring at one another. Let's see. Oh, there's a few branches in the way with the waterbuck, but I'll try and show you from here. Oh no, don't move, waterbuck. He's moving now, but you could see they were kind of staring at each other. He was right next to her just looking, but because the waterbuck's so big, she's got really no price whatsoever. Pam, no, I don't think so. I don't think these two would mate. I think you're going to find a situation where they're going to distribute long before they are, adults. What you might find is, it is possible later in life that it can happen. Very, very seldom does it happen, but it is possible that it can happen. Isn't that beautiful, though? That is the quintessential leopard right there. Her on this little log, kind of posing as beautifully as you could ever, ever, ever possibly wish for. She's very pretty. I'm so glad we got to see her today. I was a bit nervous that we might not. But yeah, I don't think they would end up mating. You'd probably find the male will distribute long before it ever gets to that point. All right, well, we'll sit with them a little bit longer. There are quite a number of other vehicles that want to come, so we might have to leave them. But what a treat it's been to spend time with both of them.
So we have not moved an inch, and neither has the lioness. She is also still fast asleep under the tree. I don't even think I've seen her twitch her ear or flick her tail. So I think it's safe to say that for at least the next little while, she's going to behave like a lion. But it's important, eh? It's important to get your rest, especially when you're out hunting all sorts of things and not catching anything. It must be quite demoralizing as well. I know what it's like when I walk to the fridge and I open it and there's nothing in there that I want to eat. There's food, but okay, well, maybe it's different for a lion, but there's nothing there. And then I close it and I go away and then I come back again. And that's nowhere near as exhausting as what a lion has to do. I really sometimes feel sorry for them. But anyways, lots of the plains game have started coming back with all the nice green grass that's around. There are herds of impala. Only just growing in numbers, and there's lots of warthogs and things about, and I think it's going to get a little bit I know it's going to get a little bit easier for her in the next month or two, so maybe towards the end of November, beginning of December, where a lot of the animals will start giving birth. We should start to see little warthog piglets running around. We'll definitely see some impala lambs, and who knows, maybe even the odd zebra foal or two. And we're very fortunate here at Pridelands to have plenty of those animal species, so she'll be able to snap up a little warthog or an impala lamb or something like that, and that will just keep her going. But she does all right. She seems to catch impala quite regularly. But like I said earlier, this is a good spot. There's quite a few animal pathways that lead down into the direction of this Tamboti thicket, and I know from spending quite a bit of time on the northern side of Leopard Dam, that most of the time the animals end up coming to drink on the southern section. So it's much easier for them to reach the water. The other side is a little bit on the steeper banks. It's difficult to see because it's quite thick. I can't believe that just a few weeks ago when we came through here, we could see clearly from this position into the dam, and there has just been an absolute burst of life from all the vegetation.
Well, looks like it's a feisty morning for me. Lions eating to scavengers on duty. Here they are, all in big numbers. They have cleaned these wildebeest clean. The only thing they are leaving is the structure, the skeleton. You can see that. That is a leopard-faced vulture, one of our large vultures. Distinct features for it to identify it is that ivory colored beak above the beak. That is how you pick up. Then the one to the right is the the African white-backed vulture, our third largest vulture. Very, very common. Yeah, very common. Looks like somebody has come and he's demanding his share. Here, the strongest eat the most, and you can tell some of them have eaten a bit too much and they're sitting on the sides. They're just waiting for second sittings. Yeah, you can tell them to the side over there, they have eaten, and some of them, maybe they're very low ranking, they're waiting for a chance to get to eat something. This is the order at this diner where, if you are big and aggressive, you get priority to eat. And if you are still small, you wait. There is one lying down close to the marabou. That one there, I think he has taken too much. That one there. It is normal at this table to feast as much as you can. And I think that one has eaten too much and is just waiting for digestion to take place so we can take off. They do that. These African white-backed vultures, they don't play with food. This is some of our scavengers that we have here. They are birds of prey. We have 6 vultures, around Africa, here in the Mara, and here I have about 2. The marabou stock is a stock. The beak is not well adapted for cutting meat. It is just for intimidation and picking those chunks that, the vultures cannot eat. It does fish with the beak. It does pick up dung beetles from elephant dung and rhino dung. But here you can tell there is meat. It cannot go cut. It just wait for big chunks to drop. So all these are our scavengers that we get here. They do a very essential job because without them, we would have very many carcasses rotting away, going to waste, and not properly utilized. And they come in and play that role of making sure that they utilize these carcasses. Of course, if they were left, maggots will find places to lay their eggs and other insects. But while doing that, they might spread disease and also increase. So the vultures and the marabou stock come in to do this job. These guys have got Joy Jumbo, thank you for your question. How do vultures, find their kill? Sight or smell? It is both. It is both, but sight is on the higher side because while flying, they're much higher and they might not be smell up there. So sight is number 1 and then smell. It is believed and said that these guys can see up to 20 kilometers clearly on a clear day. That means they must be very high. And believe me, I have been somewhere where there's a carcass sitting and watching and looking and I don't see anything. Then out of the blue, you just see one vulture appear and within a few seconds, another one appears and then all of a sudden, the carcass is surrounded by vultures, and I believe that is sight. So, Joy, sight is the main, keen sense of sense, followed by smell. Yes, the lack of feathers on their neck is an adaptation so that they can get deep onto a carcass. So they have amazing eyesight, these guys. Looks like they are finishing it off. They are not as busy. So I'm gonna leave them and continue on, see what else I can find down, down the river, heading towards the river.
Well, our two little cats have found each other. Unfortunately, the female has now left already again. They came and rubbed up on each other and kind of played a little bit, and she's now just gone behind him, so I can still see her. She's not that far. I'm hoping she's going to come back towards where he is. He's standing up now, obviously, because I think he's spotted something else that he potentially wants to go and hunt. Maybe there's some poor unsuspecting antelope now that's going to be chased around by these two hooligans. I'm not sure, but they, like I say, came together and it was just kind of a little head rub, and they sort of rubbed up against one another, and that was that, which is pretty typical for leopards, particularly siblings. They often just, all they do is kind of rub up on each other. But you know what, Theo, let's go around because we'll get the two of them together. Actually, if I just go around, we'll catch her, and then we can catch the little male kind of behind her. I think that's the idea anyway. Where did she go now? Jolly Whiskey, you're asking what is the girl's spot pattern? Jolly Whiskey, I absolutely have no idea because I have only seen her for the first time today. But if you give me 2 seconds, I will tell you what her spot pattern is. I'm pretty sure James Richard will be able to help us and give us a spot pattern, but it looks like 2-2 is what her pattern is. I might be wrong, but that's what it looks like. Looks like she's a 2-2 female. I'll have to look properly. She posed nicely for us at one point, so I should have a picture of her muzzle, but it looks 2-2 for the female. I'm not sure what the little male is. He also spent so little time with him that it's difficult to actually know what his pattern is. You got to spend a lot more time with these cats if you want to be able to recognize spot patterns. And honestly, out here, very seldom, I know it's going to sound funny, but very seldom do I use spot patterns to identify a leopard. You start to get to a point where you start to recognize them based off their features. So size, the ears, the kind of muzzle shape, eye color, those kinds of things are easier to give them away than potentially something like spot pattern. For us, it's tricky with spot patterns because we don't have a camera that zooms in on them. So when you see them from afar, there's much easier ways to recognize them. Also, territory is always a good one. That's why sometimes leopards catch people out because people think it's a certain leopard, even though because of where they are and the territory that they're in, but it actually ends up being a different individual altogether. So there they go, the two of them trotting after one another. Let's just go forward a little bit. It's such a cool shot to have the two in a row like that. There we go. I think Thea can probably, oh no, the male's cut off. That's the female. The male's up ahead. You might just see his ears behind that branch. Let's just go forward a little bit, Theo, sorry. Would have been so cool. My angle from being lower than the camera, I can see the two of them clearly next to one, well, behind one another. But from there, Theo, I think, had no chance. Look at that branch. There we go. So you can see both of them walking together. Isn't that cool? Cute. You can see the size difference as well. He's just so much heavier set than she is. Much bigger shoulder, neck area. Even height already, he's taller than what she is. Are you guys going to go up the tree? Go up the tree for us. Come on. He's at the base of that big marula. You might just see his head moving around in his tail. Nope, not going up the tree. We're going to go marching somewhere else. He's picked up something. I don't know if maybe Mom is around and they're walking towards Mom. I'm not quite sure. Generally, what you find with these guys is that Mom will call them and then they come. They don't just go towards a leopard unless they're called. So I don't think it's her. Maybe they saw an impala or, I don't know, something that they felt they wanted to go and investigate. All right, we're going to catch up with them and investigate what they're up to. Hopefully, we'll be in for some entertainment for the rest of the morning.
lovely dragonfly. Yes! Oh, wow. What a beautiful insect. Very active. Look how fast that head turns. Come back. Oh, my word. This is a two-striped skimmer in view right now. Very beautiful species of dragonfly, and one that we are seeing quite a lot around Tswalu at this point in time. You can see, if you look just after the head, that midsection there, you can see these two lines running up at like a 45-degree angle. That's where it gets its name from, two-striped, and it's part of the skimmer family. So, wings held horizontal with the body, the eyes touching each other, as well as its shape. We can see that this is a dragonfly and not a damselfly. Superficially, they resemble each other, but dragonflies are much stronger flies than that of damselflies. And these guys are very, very fast. You look at the speed that insect takes off with. Wings working independently against each other. Obviously, the cross-section of muscles allow those wings to move at the volatile rate that it does. What a beautiful insect. So the other day we found that, a vagrant emperor. And if you look at the abdomen, that long section, the tail piece of this insect, going all the way to the very tip on the right-hand side of the screen, that is also a very important identification tool with families. So a certain family will have a certain appendage or shaped tip at the abdomen. You're also using the wing panels. You can see the white spot. All right, we're going to send you off quickly. Hold on. We'll see you now.
Right, so Mom did arrive. As we said, with all the commotion, Mom was certainly going to kind of come and check. And you can see there's Mom, and the little female is going to be the first one to arrive, and the little male is coming from the back. He's trotting behind her. So we should get all three of them meeting up, which is exactly what I wanted. Isn't this cool? Look at how she runs with excitement. Hey, Mom. Oh, is that not the sweetest thing? Look at that. That is her bonding, making sure Mom knows that it's her. Oh, that is as good as it gets, that's for sure. When you see them meeting up with Mom, the sheer joy that is in a cub's face when it does it always makes me happy and smile. I always think it's just the most amazing thing to watch them as they go about it. And you'll see the little male is going to come now as well. I'm sure the little female will come back to Mom shortly. Do you hear him? Look at him bounding in. Isn't this cool? Oh, that is so special. Well done, guys. You found Mom. You'd swear that they've been left for their whole life, the way that they've just kind of bounded in there. She's only been away for the past little bit. She left them last night. She was with them last night, apparently, until about 8 o'clock the guys had her. So it's not like she's been gone that long, but you can see his size in comparison to her, how he's almost bigger than she is these days. He's getting absolutely massive. Oh, that is cool. Come on, little girl, you come back as well and make a little cat trifecta. There we go, look. All three in one frame. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Oh, that is so special. That is exactly what we had been hoping for, is all three of them to come together and make the perfect little family portrait. James, I think you and everybody else too, I think we all love to see a reunion between mom and cubs. It's always such a special thing to watch when they come together, and you can see there's a genuine joy in the cubs as they greet their mom. You can see how they all kind of bond together, rub up on each other, and that's just all to reaffirm bonds. And then they're like, okay, mom, I'm done with you now. I'm gonna carry on and go and investigate things. Oh, that was awesome. I'm so glad we got it in time, because obviously these moments are fleeting, and it's not always easy to kind of plan when you're going to see it and where, and for her to kind of greet them in the most open part of this little area has been an absolute treat. Oh, that was special. I would imagine now what she's going to do is just come and check that they're okay, and then from there she's probably going to kind of find them a place to stay. What's really interesting, though, is that to give you an idea of how close we are to Djuma, we are probably within about 400 meters, not even 300 meters of Cheetah cut line. So we're very, very close to Gari Main, and they're walking north further still. So it looks like they might even be heading possibly towards sort of the Torchwood Djuma junction, which would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be the first time that we would have seen these guys going, especially the cubs. The cubs generally don't go up there. She obviously comes up, but the cubs don't head up in that direction. Now, unfortunately, there's a vehicle that's just cut our shot completely, which is par for the course sometimes. So we'll try and just reposition and catch up with them. I'm going to try and follow them and see if they do go up into Djuma. They're heading the right way, but they might also be heading into Little Gari. Maybe she was hunting and she was successful last night, and she's going to take them to a kill. So we'll just see how it goes.
Zambo, and welcome again to the Mara, where we have a sleeping lion. He was walking around when he got here, but then he went to drink and then came to sleep here. He keeps on raising his head, but he's a little bit shy. And on his back, I can see scar marks, but they're already healed. So I think he must have walked into another lion's territory and got a little bit in a fight. So when lions don't have their territory yet, they become nomadic, and when they walk into other lions' territory, they get a little bit of fight because they're not welcomed. So until he gets to find another male who they can form a coalition, he still has a long way to go. So he looks like he already fed. And when these lions get into that time when they become nomadic, then they'll get to scavenge at times. They follow hyenas, and if the hyenas that are killed, they'll chase them out of a kill. Whenever they come across lioness from other pride, he will try to chase them off from the kill. So they have a tough life as they're carrying on before they become prime male in a pride. Good thing he looks well fed, he looks fit. So it seems like he's going to form a very good breeder when he gets to his prime, where he owns up a territory. He looks like he has blondie mane, so I've not yet identified him because he looks like he's not from within. So I'll be curious to know him. I can feel it's warming up, so lions will tend to pick a place where they can spend the rest of the day. Especially now that he's fed. He can at least stay without eating for about 2-3 days. Unless if there's an opportunity that comes in his way, because they can also be opportunistic as well as hunt on their own. So I think I'm going to leave him here to sleep. So I've seen Syria, thank you so much for your question. I'm trying to find his identity because he's sleeping in the long grass. I can't really tell who he is. I haven't seen him. He looks like he has some scratch and bite marks on his back. So it seems like a nomadic one. And he's been walking around into other lions' territory. That's why he had those scars on his back. So when he keeps on lifting his head, I'll try and ID him. But at the moment, I don't know who he is. I'll hang around here to see if I can recognize this lion here as I take you over to another live location.
So we lost the cheetahs going into a thicket, and then they came back out onto this open clearing, and you can see the females just grooming away, which makes me feel like she might not be ready to settle down because it's such a nice cool day, so she might try and hunt even more frequently. You can see the youngsters in the back there. They were actually running around and chasing each other for quite a little bit, and they've, I think, tired themselves up out a bit, but they're almost lying on top of each other there, so I think they are still a little bit playful. If we see one of them get up, then the other one will almost certainly be inclined to jump up and play with his sibling. See how they just started looking to the right hand side there, and oh, look at this female looking straight past us here. So she's got herself on a little bit of a rise, so she can just see over the grass, and she doesn't have to lie in between the grass. And she's staring in the distance, hoping to see if she can spot some other animals. But there's actually some giraffe that's coming closer and closer and closer, coming to investigate these cheetahs. Look at that. So close to these cheetahs. The youngsters were playing earlier, so lots of movement around this open area. Look how they're staring at the cheetahs. Super inquisitive of them. But these giraffes won't just run away because they know that they are not a threat. Andrew, you're asking if cheetahs are related to servals. I think somewhere down the line they are somehow related, as they are big cats. But a serval, I think, is more related to normal house cats. I think the cheetah is a little bit down the line of taxonomy and where they split from in evolution. A bit further away. I would say that a serval and all the smaller cats are very closely related, and cheetah not so much. Just here, the other vehicle also joining us into the sighting here. And see how this female's lying on her side there with her head up like that, and that way she can lie down and rest, but still keep an eye on anything that's happening around her. So not just in this open area to keep a lookout for prey, but also to see if she can spot any predator that might be a threat to her and her youngsters. Just trying to look over this rise here next to us. See the youngsters starting to play there in the background. Just a little bit of a scuffle happening. Biting each other. I don't know if you can see past that small bush there. Let's just wait for a moment. We might see these youngsters get up and chase each other around a bit. They are really going at each other and biting each other, and it's all play for now until one of them gets hurt, and then it might become a little bit more serious. The one's starting to like nibble on the hindquarters. Look at that. And they're up. Look at that. Andrew, you're asking how many cheetah moms have cubs on Phinda at the moment. It's quite difficult to say because there might be females that are denning that we don't know of, that are hiding their cubs away for the first couple of months of their lives. But we definitely know of at least 4, I think there's about 4 females that's known to have youngsters, and where the youngsters are old enough and moving around with their mother. Look at these youngsters. There's almost like, see the one that's sitting upright? It's almost like that one's the one that's been getting the other one down all the time. Wonder if it's a little bit stronger. Maybe it could be a young female, so a young male going and playing with mom as well. But for now, I think they seem like they want to settle down. You can see this one just finding a spot to lie down. And I think Gert and I are going to hang around and keep watching these cheetahs be as playful as they are.
Well. Here I am. And I've come across these 2 giant Nile crocodiles and wildebeest that they have made a kill. Definitely they didn't come out to fetch it, so the wildebeest had gone down, I would say, to cross, because if it was to drink, there is plenty of water in the plains, in a lot of places. So there could have been a crossing here that happened. I didn't see it. This is a crossing that I've never shared with you, but they do cross here. This is one of the most northern side crossings. It's close to Kichwa Tembo airstrip, and that's where they come down from the other side. Looks very civilized. They come down there, and then, you know, they come up to this side. Actually, there is a few zebra there. Do they look like they're interested? No. They're busy grazing. Nobody looks like he wants to come this way. Yes, I must say, there must have been a crossing here, and we missed it. I know you're saying how, but we cannot be everywhere sometimes, and sometimes there's very many things that we'd like to share with you, but we missed them, and this was one of them. They did cross here. I can tell there is another line of of zebra that I saw back there that's coming. But let's go back to our crocodile. Looks like they've been eating so well. What is happening here is they've stashed that one in a very shallow end of the river, and they're going to eat it later. There is more crocodiles swimming up. We'll share that with you. But these 2 are massive. Look at that one. Look at his belly. He's been eating so well throughout the migration. I'm sure, you know, this will last him until the next migration. These are the Nile crocodiles spread out all over this river. Believe me, it is said about every 20 square meters there is a crocodile in this water. So when you come, don't swim here. There's another one that just arrived. I don't know if they're gonna start eating that wildebeest. That would be super cool. But until they do it, that's when, I'm gonna believe. Well, these guys are very, very fast swimmers. And in the water, they can catch top speeds. They say up to around 40 kilometers per hour. So that is very, very fast. They use their tails to propel themselves up. I think where those two are is very shallow, and so they're sitting at the bottom. These guys feed once a year, and then they slow down their metabolism, and that takes them until next year. An animal built for the kill, you can tell its eyes are on top of the head, the nose on top of the head, and also the hearing sensory organs, just those two notches just behind the eye are above the head. So when swimming, they don't make a ripple. They are stealthy swimmers, and when wanting to breathe, they can just lift a little bit of their forehead up, or the forehead exactly, and just to breathe. Also, when they need to see, they just need to lift their heads up and they will see. This looks like a very big male, very old, and he's been sitting here maybe for a long time. I can see all that accumulation of dirt on his side. Yeah, so these are very dangerous predators. I call them the submarines of the Mara. And it can weigh up to a ton for the really big ones, and can be as long as around 21 feet. So can you imagine how strong they are? They have the ability to stay underwater for over an hour, and also can see in murky waters than these ones, because they have a second eyelid called the nictitating membrane that cleans the eye really rapidly and fast, and so while swimming they can see clearly. Usually they grab their prey, pull it down, and if the prey puts up a fight or resistance, they result into what we call the death roll. The death roll disorientates the prey, sometimes breaking its limbs, or it causes them to lose parts of their body, and so it drowns and dies. They usually need one another so that one can act as an anchor while the other one acts as a, does the death roll to cut off some chunks of meat. Well, I don't know if there is much happening here, but I'm going to sit here for a little bit longer, see what's happening.
You can see these youngsters are grooming themselves. They actually were playing and fighting over their mother, and she just gave them a growl, and then she got up and both of them lied down, and she went and lied down right in between them, almost to tell them that it's now done. You can see the one grooming her closer to us, so a lot of grooming and yawning and happening every now and then between these cheetahs, so telling me that they are settling down a little bit, but they are ready to go whenever there's an opportunity for them. So you can even see this youngster grooming itself, how skinny it is. There's no bulging stomach or anything there, so they are very, very hungry. Gerrit and I actually saw them drink some water, quite a bit of water earlier, and cheetahs will drink from time to time, they'll drink whenever they can, but they are not really cats that need to drink a lot of water all the time. So I think they were drinking quite a bit because they have such empty stomachs. Because they can go for long periods of time without food, but this female and their youngsters need water, like all animals do. See how this youngster is just looking over his shoulder there, raising himself up a bit. And have a look at that the one that's sitting up there, you can see the fluff behind his neck while he's got his back to us. And I don't know if you've ever heard of how this young cheetahs, so when these two youngsters were very small and they were hidden away, we were just talking earlier about how they get hidden away for the first couple of months of their lives. Their whole bodies would be covered in long fur. If you have a look at this youngster here, you can see there's quite a bit of that long fur still left on his back and on his neck especially, and that's the remnants from that long fur that he had. And that long fur, these youngsters would have probably been hidden away in a nice long grass area, or where there's some nice thicker, dense areas, and that long fur would have helped to keep them camouflaged from other predators or being spotted by something else. Look at Mom, how alert she is, looking around all the time. Being on this little rise of this termite mound, she can see all around her, all across this open area, and clearly any other animals. Youngsters are really falling asleep. And see even Mom's eyes closing, but you'll see any little bit of movement, and there's even a breeze that's coming over now. And see this youngster also closer to us, also bobbing his head around. So when the breeze comes over like this, they have to often open their eyes. You can see Mom's also got her eyes open there. Because when there's a breeze like this, it takes away from their hearing a little bit, and they can only smell what the wind is bringing. Josh, you're asking how often cheetahs drink water. So, like I said earlier, they are not too reliant on water. Cheetahs actually do live in and naturally exist in dry, arid areas like semi-desert and some desert areas. And they'll get a lot of their water from the food they eat, but they will drink if there is water available. So the cheetahs and Phinda probably drink every time they go past the watering hole, but this female, she went to go to cubs to the water there because I think they are very, very hungry and filling their stomachs with something and getting some water in. So she's looking around now to the left hand side there. You could just hear some birds giving like a bit of an alarm call, but it just might be other birds that are coming too close to their nest or so, and even that is catching her attention there. You can look behind her ears. The black behind the ears is a nice way to see where she's listening to. Flicking the ears away as the insects are biting her as well. Bit of a head shake there from the one youngster. But for now, I think while they are still settled down, I'm now just going to stick around and see if they do get up to something later on.
Welcome again back to the Mara, where we come across a small herd of wildebeest, but they're walking towards where there's big herd. You can see them running up and about. Those bulls are not welcoming other smaller bulls within there. The little herds they had. Now as they're walking, they always form semi-permanent territories where these males will attract the females within those territories. And any intruder will always be photoed. That's just how you saw him chasing another bull away. And sometimes it's so vicious out that they fight off and horns can be broken. They can even kill each other. Because this is almost toward the end of the rat season, where they'll come here to mate and to feed. As they're walking through, that's how they keep on forming the semi-territories. You can see zebras are amongst them because they also alert them in terms of security. if there's predators around, the zebras have a very sharp eyes. So I'm still determined to see the big herd because these wildebeest are walking towards where the big herds are. So I'll just carry on slowly. Very nice sound I can hear from them. So I'll just drive slowly towards the big herds to be nice to see. I learned yesterday there was a big crossing, so I'm not quite sure if they'll be heading later on to the crossing point, but seems like they're walking away from the river. So let me go and see if the big herd is still there or not, because from a long distance away I could see there was a big herd across the hill. So as I go finding the big herd, let me send you over to another live location.
Okay, so we left the sleeping lions and we came to the full and sleeping lions. So now we're back at the actual Birmingham Pride, the ones that we saw this morning eating that giraffe. Now some of them are still eating, but on our way in there we came past these two. And you can just see how absolutely full they both are. I mean, the stomachs, look at that white one, it looks pregnant. That could easily be a pregnant female. That stomach is massive. You can see that body position, the legs in the air, both of them now, almost the exact same position. Now I think he rolled on top of him, squashed him a little bit. But if I keep quiet, just listen to see if you can hear the breathing. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's very loud. We're going to see if you can gather panting. But that is just because now they are so full from eating that giraffe. It is getting quite hot now when the sun comes out. When the sun comes out, it becomes very, very hot. And they've eaten so much that they struggle to breathe. They take these quick, short, shallow breaths so that they don't get too much, like their lungs don't expand too much because their stomach's too full. And now you just see them struggle like this for the next 4 hours, just struggling to breathe while they digest. And then as they get a little bit of space, they then go back and eat. Now you can see there's a female coming sort of towards us. So there's a water hole just behind our vehicle. And I think she might actually come here for a drink at the water hole. You might see my head, I apologize, I'm trying to move. There we go. So this is now one of the middle females. You can see just beautiful. Also very, very full. Big stomach. And she's actually going exactly where we thought for a drink. I'm going to reverse the car a little bit. So just hold on while we turn. And might get a look at her drinking. You can see there's actually another lioness at the water already.
Another way back.
Not the cleanest water. It's actually very dirty, but, for a lion, don't even think twice about it. And this is why they're in such a good position, because they have water. The carcass from here is maybe 60 meters away. So they can come here, they can drink, they can relax in the bushes, knowing that their carcass is still safe. They are still close enough. Nothing's going to steal it. They can relax here in the shade, have some water, Then when they do get hungry again, walk back over to the carcass. They will never leave the carcass completely unattended because there are vultures, there are hyenas. There'll always be a few lions lying around it, possibly still even eating it. Just someone keeping an eye on it. But I mean, just watch her using the tongue there, similar to like a dog at home, scooping up the water. And they obviously don't get a lot of water per sort of scoop. They don't get a lot of water, and that's why she'll spend maybe 5-6 minutes here. Just keep licking, trying to get as much water as she can.
These female cheetahs have just been falling asleep more and more, and I think it's because it's getting a little bit later into the morning, and even though it's still overcast and nice and cool, it's a little bit warmer than it was earlier this morning. And you can see even the female's head is bobbing down and she's starting to fall asleep. So something that's just catching my eye, I was looking through the binoculars earlier. If you look at this female's face, I don't know if you can see, but just above her nose there, she's got quite a bit of a darker coloration on her face there, as if their hair is darkened over time. It might be a genetical thing that she's maybe just gotten that from her parents or so, but it's something that you can really identify this female from having this blacker nose. There you can just see her opening her eyes and looking around her after falling asleep a bit. But the little bit of black that we see on the nose there might even be from being a little bit older and starting to lose some of the coloration on the face there. Howard, you're asking if cheetahs can be tamed. I think that's a difficult question because obviously some wild animals have been tried to be tamed, and if you used to look in the history books of people in the Middle East and so on, sometimes the royal families also would have tamed cheetahs also, but it is still a wild animal. And even in petting zoos and in some zoo areas where cheetahs have been tamed before, they still stay wild and can still potentially be dangerous. Yeah, she's looking over the youngster here, staring in the distance there. There's actually some warthogs that is just walking through the thickets far in the distance. Won't be able to see them from where we are at the moment, but just look at the reaction of her, just looking at the movement and seeing what it is. So let's see, it will be interesting to see what she does, because a warthog is not particularly a thing that she would want to would hunt usually, just because warthog is basically just a ball of muscles with some tusks, so something that she could get injured trying to hunt. But look how she's showing a lot of interest in those warthogs there in the back. Oh, there's some impalas that's walking through the trees as well, and that's something that she would be way more interested in. I love how she's repositioning her feet. Look at the youngsters also spotted what she's seen. Amazing how she spotted them so quickly. Just looking for the movement of the animals on the other side there. Mohammed, you're asking how fast these cheetahs can run. So this female, being an adult female, she can reach up to 110 to 120 kilometers an hour at full speed, but it doesn't often happen that cheetahs do reach that full speed. But they are the fastest land mammal in the world. Sorry, I'm just looking over my shoulder every now and then, just losing my train of thought there, because she is getting ready to, I think, reposition herself. She's got a big open clearing here in front of her, and if she tries to approach those impalas and warthogs that we she saw earlier from here, she might get spotted very quickly. So I think she's just in two minds if she wants to reposition and to see if she should rather wait it out and be patient. The fact that the youngster's also sitting up just shows you how desperately hungry they are. Okay, so she's slowly coming forward. See the slow movement. See how she's using this bush that's here in front of her. She just creeped forward slowly just to see if she can get behind this bush. Gives her a little bit more cover, because where the cubs are sitting at the moment, if those impalas look in this direction, they might see the movement or spot the youngsters. She's just trying to give herself a bit of camouflage. There is the watering hole where these cheetahs went to drink earlier, not far away from here. And I wonder if these impalas are coming down through this clearing that she's lying in to the water to drink while it's getting to the warmer part of the day. Look, see how she loses interest a little bit, because she's just patiently waiting for them to get into a better spot, which is going to give her the best opportunity to try and hunt these impalas. You can even see the youngsters know exactly what's going on. So now you're asking for how long they can survive without food. So they can go for quite a few days without any food, as long as they've got water available to them. This female cheetah, we've been viewing her for at least the last 4 or so days, and we know for sure that she's been without food for about 4 days now. So I think about a week or so is probably the longest they can go without, but she will try and hunt every single day, every opportunity she gets, and hopefully she catches something. Obviously she's got the 2 young males to feed there in the background as well. But these youngsters know exactly what's happening. They can see the impalas and the warthogs where they are at as well. But they know that they have to give their mother the chance to do what she needs to do. So she's just looking over her shoulder, just checking for anything else. And if these impalas keep on moving the way that they are, they might move behind some bushes, and then we might see her change her reaction quite a bit. But for now, I think Gerard and I are just going to wait and see what she gets up to and what happens here.
I hope that mama cheetah will be successful. Now, my mission has really paid. I've come to this place where these herds are in big, huge numbers. Now some of them look a little, they're walking towards the left, and that direction is where the river is. But then we have a smaller group that was coming to join this, and I hope maybe later on in the day they'll be able to cross the Mara River. So these herds have been here for the last 2 days. It seems like they've changed their course from heading towards the Ololo escarpment, where it's closer to the Masai Mara Serengeti border. But then we've seen a split up of herds where we have some on this side and some towards the border area. But it looks like all of them are heading back this way. It seems like it's going to rain because these herds follow the rains. They don't have designated leaders, so each one of them can lead. So as soon as one stops, the other one takes the lead. And this is how sometimes they walk. We've seen lots of lion activity over the past 3 days where lions have been feasting on wildebeest. So their presence here also determines how well our prides will be walking within the pride area, because some of these lions walk following these herds. As evident in this morning, we found a lioness stalking, and if they don't get too close to this, they have to find or seek alternative measures or options. Josh, thank you so much for your question. How many wildebeest take part in the wildebeest migration? It's reckoned that it's about 1.5 million, but sometime I think over the years you've seen an increase in wildebeest numbers. So I'll reckon maybe my opinion is about 1.8. As the record says, about 1.5, but I think I've seen lots of wildebeest numbers, so I'll put it to about 1.8 million. So some are resting and some are walking towards the left of our screen, and I think that is the direction of the river. It's warming up, so most of them want to drink, and that is what draws them to get close to the river because of thirst. And as they get closer to the river, and because on the other side it's not being grazed, and we've seen good amount of rainfall for the last 3 days, so they'll be tempted to go for greener pastures across the river. So I think they might be able to cross later on in the afternoon. Leopard lover, thank you so much for your question. Do they trust zebras and follow them at the crossings? Because the two species go harmoniously when they're grazing and in these long journeys. So I'm sure they do trust them, because zebras have warned them of due predators because they have very sharp eyes. And I've seen when zebras are walking towards the river, when they watch over, they can see where the crocodiles are, where the crocodiles are not, and that is what really makes them to be brave to cross the river. And if it happens that they are together, so the wildebeest will actually follow them. Seems like some of them have decided to rest, while some are still on the move. So I'll just hang around here for for the next about 10 minutes, see what's going to happen, if they're going to join or some of them will decide to rest, as I take you over to another live location.
Look at this female cheetah, how interested she is. A lot of the impalas and nyalas actually had a fright in the distance, and it's just caught her attention, so she's still scanning around, and we are hoping to see what happens here. She's still sitting very patiently, and I think, remember how we said that she's a little bit older, and the fact that her face is blackening a bit? Oh, there's a wildebeest walking right behind these cheetahs now. Oh my goodness. All the animals are coming to this open clearing, having no idea these cheetahs are here. Oh, the wildebeest has just spotted something. I wonder if he's seen the cheetahs yet. She has absolutely no idea that there's a wildebeest behind her. I don't think that wildebeest has even realized that there's cheetahs here. Otherwise it would have been alarm calling and making a snorting sound. Oh, there, she's just spotted him. Looks like just a one dominant bull. Taha, you're asking how long cheetahs can survive without water. So, again, like we said earlier, one thing depends on the other. If they don't have food, they need water. But otherwise, if cheetah can at least catch something, then the moisture that they get from their food or from animals that they eat will sustain them quite a bit. Look at the reaction of her now. So some of the impalas and so is actually quite playful, and they moving over the clearing towards some thickets on the other side, and all of this movement is catching her attention so much. There's quite a lot of impalas coming through the open clearing now. Look at it, the youngsters even sitting up in the background there. But I think with this being such an open area in front of her, if she should try and trace them from here, they would definitely get away from her. They're still about 100, 200 meters away. Look at that head bobbing around every now and then, looking at the movement. See how she's just keeping an eye on the wildebeest. They're behind her and off to our left-hand side. But it seems like these impalas have all kind of started moving away. I think there was a bit of a slight change in wind as well. The wind was blowing to her from the impalas, but it's blowing towards the impalas now, and I think they all started moving away because of that smell. But I think these cheetahs are probably going to settle down, and we'll see you all this afternoon again for another live safari.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I come to you live every day here from Tswalu Kalahari in South Africa. My favorite animal in the Kalahari has to be the